Yo, welcome back to It's Up There Podcast. I am your active and attractive host for another episode of the fastest growing podcast on the market right now. You know exactly what's going on. You know the vibes, you know who you looking at, and you know who you in the building with. Today, in our culture, we got rappers, we got producers, we got filmmakers, we got podcasters. Now we got earners. I'm sitting here with Earn Your Leisure. How you guys doing?
What's up, brother? Man. Thank you for having us.
Great intro.
Appreciate it.
Hey man, it's an honor, man. I tell y'all, man, I told you, and I'm gonna give you your flowers here because we talk behind the scenes, and I've always told y'all the most important people in the culture, the most important podcast in the space, the most important people in the culture, the most important podcast in the space. At the same time, you dudes like Pee Wee Kirkland to me. You know what I'm saying? So when When I look at y'all, so and the reason I say that for my people, because I know, some of y'all will know who these guys is. They are, world renowned. You understand? So some of y'all will know who they are. But for me, I just want to give y'all a little understanding of my outlook on where I place these guys in the game. For those of you that watch me, I was explaining actually the parlay from the franchise boys yesterday.
Yeah, shout out to Parlay.
Yeah, shout out Parlay about how you guys are so important. And the reason I say that, again, student of the game, I know comics built the podcasting space. I know hip-hop came in with a force that's unmatched, right? But when I look at the space and I look at the Rogans and I look at the Burt Kreischer's, or I look at the RP Combat Jacks, or I look at the Joe Buttons, and I look at everybody in the space, I say everybody's talking good, but a lot of people are not effective. You guys are effective. What? Just introduce us to y'all journey, how y'all kind of got started. And I'll tell you, I caught on to y'all long time ago with Dame Dash. Where were y'all in y'all journey at that point after you answered the question? And because I kind of want to put a timestamp on when I saw you guys for the first time.
Yeah, no, for sure. Appreciate that. So I guess the first question is how we got started, right?
Yes, sir.
So, for anybody that doesn't know who we are, Earn Your Leisure, we financial literacy business platform. And that was kind of like our original mission statement, was to, make financial literacy cool. It's popular now, and that's dope to see. But at the time when we started it, it wasn't really how it is now. As far as everybody talking about crypto, stock, everybody talking about that now, but it wasn't really like that.
For sure.
So we had started it, and it originally started in the classroom. Troy, he was a teacher, and I was working in finance, so we was teaching a financial literacy class in the summertime for like 7 years in our neighborhood, and from there we started filming it and putting some videos on Instagram. And then the videos on Instagram was getting a lot of traction. And then from there, I was just going to anybody's like local radio or whoever would have me.
Game down.
And was just talking about it. And I was filming myself and putting it on Instagram. And then those clips just started to just come viral. So everybody thought that I already had a podcast. So they was asking like, yo, where can I see this? What's the name of the podcast?
Right.
So it was just a natural progression to move it into our own podcast. Troy came up with the name Earn Your Leisure.
Dope name. Let's spend some time now. Because, like I say in this game, man, it just doesn't seem, even if it is, right? When we deal with music, we see people kind of put that thought into like their album names. And you dudes are now just starting podcasts, calling them, any little thing. You know what I'm saying? So when even that name, yo, Earn Your Leisure. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, earn your leisure. You know what I mean? So that's dope.
Yeah, it came from really, he was starting his own social media campaign. And so our thing was like, and anything he does, anything our brothers do, we support.
For sure.
And so he was like, yo, I needed a hashtag to kind of go with what I'm trying to do. And I was like, yo, I think I got one. And I just thought about how we moved around in our town.
Right.
People had seen us growing up. They seen us have fly cars, fly clothes, pretty girls.
Right.
They never saw the hard work. They never saw him go to school. They never see me work 2 jobs and then go to school after. Right. They never saw all that. And so I was like, look, man, we need a name that encompasses all that. And I was like, yo, we earned some of these freedoms. Like, we've earned the right to have some leisure. Dope. And so when he was trying to come up with a hashtag for what his personal thing, I was like, yo, Earn Your Leisure, that's it. And it was just a hashtag. and he was using it, and it was kind of fly, and then we started seeing people put it on their vacations, and he stopped using it, and then our bro Spanks was like, yo, what happened to that hashtag? I think it was dope.
Yeah.
And so when we were coming up with a name for the podcast, we had a couple other names. He thought of Money, Power, Respect, and I was like, yo, dumb rappers need teaching. Both bad boy names. I was like, maybe Puff not gonna like this.
right.
And so the hashtag Earn Your Leisure was ours. It was like we didn't have to recreate anything. It was already ours. So Earn Your Leisure just became the name, and now it's like it's a brand name that it speaks for itself.
And
they know that.
When I tell you, it got power behind it. You know, it's not like just like I say, the Woo De Woo podcast, like, yo, bro, earn your leisure, bro.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, though. You know what I mean? A lot of hustlers, a lot of people, even from where I'm from, and, you know, when I first met you, I was saying, like, my job is to bridge the gap between knowledge and money. You know, a lot of you guys deal with the knowledge and the money. Mm-hmm. So a couple weeks ago, we saw Kanye West go on Drink Champs, and he spoke about how the game is like the league. And I look at this shit like the league. I've been looking at it like the league. Shout out Kanye, shout out Nori. I've been looking at it like the league. But when I look at y'all, I say, see, man, my mind's crazy, right? Yeah. That's number one. I look at rappers, and a lot of people where I'm from look at the rapper like they're the extreme hustler. And I know that not to be the case, right? Shout out to my rap guys. I'm Pee Wee Kirkland myself, but I be quiet about it, you know? So, but I'm saying we tend to look at the rappers like they is the ultimate hustlers, right? When I look at y'all, I understand that the freedom that y'all have because y'all got not only the money, but the knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, when I keep seeing y'all kind of dudes keep hustling, to me in the league, that's yours at the contact. I look at y'all dudes like, you understand? You done got the knowledge and the money. And he still willing and dealing. The rap dude don't know no better. They just got him on the hamster on the wheel. He ain't got sense enough to get out the rain. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, far as a business standpoint, they keep them in debt and they keep them, you know, working for them. With y'all having the knowledge and the money, I just look at y'all like, yo, these dudes are something special. Tell me when y'all. No, let's get back to the Dame Dash question. Yeah, where were y'all at in the journey when y'all did the Dame Dash episode?
Shout out to Dean.
Shout out to Dame.
That was like a year and a half after we started the podcast. It was actually at the beginning of Corona. So, you know, we live in New York. So Corona hit New York bad. Bad when it first hit. Everything was shutting down. It was like a gray cloud over the city. So at the time, we was like, we just need somewhere to just go and just vibe and just get some inspiration. It was the beginning of the summer, so, you know, all our kid was out of school. So we took our whole family. It was probably like 15 of us. It was us, the staff, my son, Troy's kids, his wife. It was like 15 of us. We went to L.A. for the whole month of July. And we got a dope house out there, and we was just vibing.
Yeah.
So shout out to my man, Kenny Burns. So while we was out in L.A., you know, we was just looking for people to interview.
Right.
Because the day that we got to L.A., they had announced that L.A. shut down.
Dang.
So like,
you can't do no interviews.
So, but it was still love though, because it was, you know, it was good weather, it was beaches, it's just L.A.
Right.
So we like, all right, we're gonna make the most of this. So let's try to get as much content as we can while we out here. So I hit Kenny, and you know, the top person on our list from day one was Dane. Like the top 2 people on our list, the top 3 people on our list from day one was Jay-Z, Dane.
I knew Jay.
And Nipsey.
I see Jay all on y'all. I see Jay.
When I said, man, we gonna say his name until he's sitting next to us.
He gonna do it. For sure he gonna do it. I'm talking about, listen, I know he gonna do it. You know why? Because y'all dudes ain't reaching. Y'all just hustling. And if don't nobody respect hustling, that dude respect her. And then I'm telling y'all, man, the thing that make at least me, and I'm gonna do everything I can to bridge whatever gap between the Charlamagne guys and y'all. And if y'all don't know what the Charlamagne guys is, something went viral the other day.
Do you like Charlamagne on your nachos? Well, I don't eat nachos like that, you feel me? So, that ain't my favorite food, by the way, you know what I mean? So,
You know what, someone asked the guy, do we eat jalapenos? And that's how he pronounce it. Do I eat dollar for no need? Yes, there be. So what I'm saying is I'm trying to bridge those gaps. But he said, yo, I'm telling you that the people see when I first said it, people listening already start laughing. Cause they know it was super viral, you know? But what I'm saying is, Jay gonna do it, right? He gonna instantly come down and do it because ain't no reaching. Y'all ain't doing too much. I'm making everybody rich. It's just hustling, baby.
Yeah.
And it's New York.
Yeah.
I never knew y'all was. I'm telling you, man. When I see y'all, see Jay. So Jay, Dame Dash, and who was the third?
And Nipsey. Rest in peace,
Nipsey.
Nipsey.
All right.
That was a big inspiration for us. So you know, when we got to LA, Dame, I knew that Kenny Burns had a good relationship with Dame. So I hit Kenny like, yo, you think you can get us in touch with Dame? And he's like, yeah, let me call him. So he called him, and then like the next day, he put me in a group chat with Dame and was like, you know, that's kind of a surreal moment. Like we grew up on that.
Sure.
So I'm in a group chat with
and
Dame.
he's Supreme
like,
Hustler.
Yeah. So he like, yo, let's do it. Let's set it up like the next day. So we went to his spot, and Dame, man, somebody that I got a lot of respect for, bro, because it's like, you know, the way somebody's portrayed in the media is not always the real person.
Right.
And everybody look at Dame like he's crazy, he's bitter, this, that, and the third.
Right.
But he showed us nothing but love. He let us use his studio. He, you know, gave us a bunch of game, gave me his direct line.
Love.
You know, shared the content once the video was out, and we kept the relationship with him. Like even now to this day, I call Dame like if you know, just to chop it up with him.
That's love.
So that was something that was like a milestone interview for us, and a lot of people liked it. You know, it got a lot of traction, and that was one of those things where it was like, all right, that was like, you know, just trying to check things off the list.
See, brand building is a powerful thing. And when I saw y'all with the Dame thing, I knew it was something special. The brand wasn't as big as it is now. But I said, what they kicking is dope. And then to see you sit next to Dame and kick that same game. See, everybody Batman into Batman show up. You see what I'm saying? You know, sometimes they in the car with a guy and they Batman. Other times they in the car with a guy and they Robin. You know, when y'all sat next to Dame and still was, I said, yo, these dudes is here. Talk to me about building the podcast, how difficult that was. The reason, see, y'all fight is different than mine. My fight is, I gotta try to be disruptive in my approach to the content game, right? Because it's oversaturated with people who think they know what they talking about. So I gotta be disruptive a bit in my approach with y'all. I more so looked at y'all like an Uber of the space, like y'all solving a problem, so you hijack it. It's almost like you hijack the process. Talk to me about the podcast building.
I think what you spoke about with the Dame situation was two guys that are still humble enough to know that they don't know everything, right? And so when we talk to them, it's like we're reminiscing on what we heard from him as young adults, sitting down as men, soaking up game, giving a little bit of game, because he's humble enough to know that he doesn't know everything.
Right.
And so, like, that's where it starts. Like, as far as the podcast, we didn't know anything about podcasting. Right. We didn't know how to record. We didn't know how to distribute the podcast. All these things we had to learn, but that goes back to that humbleness. Like, all right, we don't know anything. Let's build on this foundation and learn as we go.
Right.
And so when we started, it was like, all right, let's put out information. We had the Instagram page. Shotty's amazing at that. That's his strength.
Right.
And so we kind of lean on each other's strengths. Like,
Right.
I remember being like, when we started, it was like 3 followers. And I was trying to write up articles, and I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. I'm really not good at writing the articles up, but like he is.
Right.
What I'll do is like, you know what, from a standpoint of just research, I love research and I love reading. I'll give him everything.
I
give him all the information I found,
and
I let him do his magic. And so like it was a formula that worked for us. Our other partner, Mike, was great at technology. And so we leaned on him for anything like in logistics as far as websites and uploading videos and things like that. Right. So everything was like on the ground. Then we reached out to somebody in our neighborhood who knew how to record.
And it was that simple.
It was like, yo, literally. And the crazy part is he worked at the daycare my son was at.
Wow.
And so we were just like, all right, let's just go. We had shotgun mics. I had a laptop smaller than that joint. And we were just like, all right, more important than how this is going to look, how it's going to sound, is the value of what we're about to say.
And y'all hijacked it. You hijacked the process with the... I'm seeing that, and it's so. I don't know if somebody told y'all that, and I keep reiterating it. Not the overreach. Y'all dudes don't do no cap. Y'all don't do no.
Nah, it's funny. It's funny you say that because we was talking to somebody who was in Beverly Hills, and the dude had like a huge mansion, super dope house, and he was saying like, it's crazy because like in our space, in the finance space, like most people they sell lifestyle, meaning like they got like a Lamborghini and they got a Ferrari, and it's like, in order for you to listen to me, I got to show you that I'm successful first, and then I'll get credibility, and then you'll listen to me.
Right.
And he was like, y'all came in and y'all never sold lifestyle, y'all just gave information. He was like, that's kind of like almost impossible. Like from day one, like y'all just.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it real niggas like me, and Bank and Parlay and niggas like that. We gravitate to that because, see, we come from a place where inflation is real. So all that overly, I can do it, or I'm the best, take me for my word. It's like, yo, that'll scare us. Yeah. And also on top of that, and it ain't about y'all no more. Again, y'all is at the contact for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like this is y'all's at the contact, man. I done already, you dig? I'm to a point now where I can handle everything I got going on, but I'm still kicking this game. Yeah. So it gotta be for each one teach one hand wash the other, both wash the face. Just the super business type of thing.
Yeah, no shirts, no ties.
Yeah, it don't resonate the same.
Like I learned that in education, Shotty as well. And we used to come to my classroom. He come in his flops, some T's, some J's,
and
hoodies.
Kicking supreme game.
Yeah, because it was about the social equity. Like we knew the value of what we had on. Like coming from the world of education, I walk into a classroom, the kids look at what I'm having on. I work in the city, so it was like, yo, he fresh, I'm gonna listen to him.
Exactly.
And so I didn't have to wear a shirt and tie. I didn't have to wear khakis because the message was more important. Plus, they can relate to me. Like they dress like that.
Exactly.
I'm using terms that come from the lyrics of the songs they listen to,
Lord.
or they can relate to that.
Yes, Lord.
And so we kind of just came with that same blueprint for Earn Your Leisure. Was like, yo, we're gonna dress how we dress. We're gonna wear hoodies. More important than that is what we kicking. Exactly. And we're gonna use hip hop because we know that's what we listen to. We grew up on that. Like we are hip hop babies.
Right.
So it ain't nothing for us to talk about finance through the lyrics.
Right.
Because we've been doing that the whole time, our whole lives.
Right.
Like now the world's listening.
Man, it's so dope. Let's talk about too, man. I wanted to talk with y'all about communication again, because I told you that with this Up There podcast, like I'm an independent podcast, but I go to the hood, to the ghetto, and what I do is I teach the children about communication. I teach them about understanding not who's saying it, but what's being said, right? I like to say, listen, if let's say I'm in Asia, right, and I'm dying because I'm very hungry, and they got signs up that say free food right around the corner, but their language is in a totally different language. I can walk past those signs and still remain in my same circumstance.
That's that Nas line. So many signs in the hood, but no signs say out.
See, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
See, big boy. That's supreme game. And you see how you pull that. Yeah. That's what makes y'all so different than anybody else kicking this bullshit. You understand? Because y'all can pull it, grab it. That's that Nas. Boom. Put that together, mash that, eat that, boy, that's supreme game. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling y'all, that's resonating. It's reaching like me. And, it's reaching people, bro. And I know y'all know that because y'all putting the work down. But with that being said, like, I went down a journey with that communication thing because for me, bro, it's I pay so close attention to it because I know they saying shit right in front of our face. They doing shit right in front of our face, but they using words outside of the words that they taught us, right? So they take you to school, and that's why I got a disdain kind of for the school setting. It's because they take you to school and they teach you all of these words and all of these things, and then soon as you get out of school, all of that's useless. Even the verbiage, like, it's not even the same thing in the real world. These things don't translate, and certain things will ring true to me when let's say you get in the Benz, right? You open the door and it says on the thing, door ajar. I used to always wonder, why don't they just put open? Right? But that to me plays into the same thing like with stocks. You won't find that sequence of numbers anywhere except right there. So it's like you can't stumble up on it over here, listening to rap, or you can't be playing a video game and gain some understanding of it. You can only get that understanding if you come to this arena. Talk to me about stocks and how the hell, number one, y'all can retain so much information, and number two, what is the true and working definition of stocks?
Yeah, I mean, before we even throw that, I think that's one of the reasons why, our podcast and our whole platform has spread so quickly is because, for a long time, people felt like the message was over their head and it was, too complex.
Right.
And, a lot of that is done intentionally. So when we came,
Simple.
we just spoke the regular way that we speak. We dressed the regular way that we dress. And a lot of people could identify with that for the first time. It was like, oh, this is actually something that's not over my head. I'm not, dumb. I can actually, do this, and I don't have to change the way I talk. I don't have to change the way I dress. So the messenger is actually more important than the message a lot of time.
Yeah, it comes
You
to
just
bar.
kick some.
That's
Eat
the
that
part.
up.
Like, when you saying that, all I'm thinking is Nip, right? Like you
Right.
said, that every generation there's some dude that can come through and decode the matrix,
what
right?
I'm saying?
Remind people of their strength and of their
Yes,
soul and
Lord.
greatness.
Yes, Lord.
Like here we are.
Right.
To decode like what was being said. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
because
saying?
I'm telling you, they had it in plain sight.
It's there.
And then like when they come out, man, I'm telling you, and even when you watch CNN, some of these things, they just use language that no one's ever taught you. It's like, he just said, what did that word mean? I've literally never heard that working word, but they're doing that on purpose. Number one, they don't want to pin themselves into saying something with certainty, right? So sometimes they use these little words but with stocks, I've never seen those number sequence like that, bro. 0.00. It's like, hold on, son.
So for the stocks, like the easiest way for me to explain it, there's two types of companies. There's private companies and then there's publicly traded companies. So like a private company is like what we have at Earn Your Leisure. So we have me, Troy, and our other partner, Mike. We own Earn Your Leisure. So it's a private company, right?
Okay.
So we make all the decisions. Any revenue we split amongst ourselves. We don't have to ask anybody's approval for anything. Like we own 100% of Earn Your Leisure. Now, if we take Earn Your Leisure public, meaning it goes to the stock exchange, now we might own, let's say, 20% of Earn Your Leisure, and 80% is owned by the public. That's why it's called publicly traded. So now once it's owned by the public, you can actually buy shares in the company.
Okay.
By buying shares in the company, you're actually buying ownership of the company. So it's like a giant pizza pie with like a million different slices, right? So each slice represents ownership. Mm-hmm. So if you buy a share of Apple, now you are owner of Apple.
Right.
Now your percentage of ownership might be 0.000.1,
Right.
like a very small percentage, but you're still an owner.
Right.
The more shares you have, the larger your ownership goes. So as an owner of the company, just like any company, if the company does well, now the company's value goes up, which raises the stock price. If the company doesn't do well, then the value of the company goes down, which lowers the stock price. So, that's kind of like my fifth grade explanation as far as stock.
And that makes sense. Makes sense. Now let me ask you this. And hey, sir, you getting them when he talking, kicking that major game? You going zooming in. I'm saying not the wide angle. I need them to see these boys when they go to kicking that real shit.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, for shit show. I just want to make sure though. Yeah, my people depending on me. Yeah, for sure. But no, that makes sense. Now, with that being said, now let's talk about what stocks do, right? So without me knowing, I'm gonna ask you some questions. Again, we just having conversation, brothers just talking, So with those stocks, so let's say a company goes public. Are they taking that money and funding the company, or like so the money that they're getting from selling the stocks is that to run is that working capital or
that helps their market cap. So the market cap tells the overall value of the company.
Okay,
and so the more shares you buy, right, the value of the company goes up.
Okay,
right. So the more times you see the volume, there's like volume, right? They can tell the volume, positive volume, negative volume, right?
Okay.
And so when we teach kids, the first thing we tell them is like, y'all know a stoplight, right?
Right.
Red means what?
Stop.
Means
right.
stop. Probably means bad.
Right.
Right. Green means go. Means positive. Means good.
Right.
So when you see those two colors on the market or the charts, if the stock's going up, it's going to be green. If it's going down, it's going to be red.
Right.
Depending on
that's a universal green.
That's a universal, right? And so like and we want to get their eyes familiar with
Exactly.
it. And so the more money that comes into it, obviously the value of the company goes up, the value of your share. So the key is to not just have one slice of pizza, right? When we talk about the pie,
Right.
but to get as many slices
you
as
can.
possible, because if you paid $1 for that slice, and 2 years later that dollar's worth 10, you've made $9 on each slice.
Yes, Lord.
Or
Makes
each,
sense.
each share.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, do you guys think? And before we get into stock, because this is burning my head up, so I want to ask you guys this. Because anytime I see two powerful black men together, I want to make sure that you guys are sound, and I know you guys are, but do you guys ever have you guys have any brother beefs?
Nah.
Cause and I'll tell you what made me say that, because I hate to see when these things are just such a beautiful thing, and then like a Jay and Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You see that?
sure,
Like
sure.
a Jay and a Dame, right?
We watch those things happen.
Right. So
It happens all the time. I mean, for us, no, I mean, there's always issues.
Of course,
bigger
men,
than
men,
exactly.
yeah.
Bigger than just us. Like, we got a lot of other people that's around us too. So, everybody's not gonna always see it on the same page.
Right.
There's gonna be disagreements. There's gonna be fights. That's part of it. But
Right.
for me and Troy, not really. I mean, honestly, we don't really have too many disagreements. Because I think our relationship is a little different. Like, like we was really like friends our whole entire life.
I can feel it.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I can feel it.
it's real family. It's not like we just met a few years ago. Like, we
Right.
really knew each other forever. And, I feel like we got matching temperaments as far as like, he's real, laid back. I'm laid back too, but, he's a very humble person. So, it's a good dynamic, and it's not a lot of ego. It's not a lot of ego clash.
I can feel it. And again, that's what the information come with it. See, because you put 3 rap dudes in the group
Yeah.
that come from nothing with no information but money. Now, dudes' mentality started to like, yo, man, like, because see, again, I'm from Nashville, right? So I saw when Young Buck signed with G Unit and how that ended up dissolving. It's like, oh, okay. So people and I also saw how rappers like to, I'm telling you, rappers, we have a hard time, bro, because our approach is off, right? Rappers come back to the hood to stunt on the people who are broke, right? I was just talking about Dolph, RIP to Dolph.
Rest in peace.
And I got 36,000 shares. And I'm just telling people, like, listen, you stay out of your hood not because you're afraid of your hood. You go to your hood in a structured setting. And I gotta always reiterate and repeat this for the youngsters. But you go to your hood after you become successful in a structured setting, right? You want to give that light to the people. But you also understand that I'm a multi-millionaire. If I'm on, like now, I'm in New York, I'm headed to LA, I just left Atlanta, like, I don't have a connection to my neighborhood like I used to. My intel is off. Like, when I get to the neighborhood, I don't know that Sharice drive that yellow car and her cousin drive a black Tahoe, and her cousin don't like me because his people, it's lineage, it's information that you get. Like, you go to school every day, you're a little swifter than the rest of the people that missed some of them assignments.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're not in that area, you don't have the intel. Now I'm depending on Lil John from the neighborhood to tell me, such and such don't like you, or and the intel could be off. And so I could be riding around not knowing that black car is kin to the people that's kin to the people that don't necessarily care for me. So my information could be off. We tend to go back to the hood, right? And it's another thing with podcasters. I don't like to see rich niggas talking to rich niggas about rich niggas. Like, everybody rich. Like, what I'm saying is, they'll get on a podcast, right? Talk to the other rich guys about how rich they are. But we dealing with legacy.
Yeah.
When we talk about Jay, look at Jay and LL. There was a time when people would say LL was smashing Jay. We dealing with legacy, though. Jay reached in there and grabbed some people out the water and drew them off and put them in position to be lifeguards.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
What you're saying is important, and that's what makes our situation unique. Like,
Right.
I known him since I was in 8th grade. He was in 6th grade. Like
Bro,
when
that's
people,
so,
when,
man, I tell my
Yeah.
man, I celebrate y'all.
yeah, when
bro,
when people
swear.
like, I'm like, yo, they think like, can they duplicate it? I'm like, yeah, try to talk to somebody for 25 years straight every
Right,
day.
right.
Then you'll get that chemistry.
Right.
But another thing is like when people say go back to their hood, we never left.
Right.
So we was teaching, like he says, 10 summers when the world wasn't watching, we was in classrooms
Doing it.
teaching it and giving the message because kids were coming in contact with money, but we wanted to show them the value of it, what you can do with it, what it really means. So we was always doing that. And when we was having that program, the first thing we would do, find a young kid who looks like he got promise, we hire him. Every year it was like, all right,
That's dope.
the next young lady who got promise, let's hire her. And so from that program, we've had a lot of people who are successful. And now it's like, all right, the kids who were in the program, now we've seen promise in them since they was 14. Now let's give them a job. You know what I'm saying? Now we're in a position where it's like, all right, we got a lot of businesses we running.
Right.
We watched him at 14. We got a young man who just graduated high school. He's working on vending machines right now in the high school that he just graduated
Dope.
from. And so it's like we keep a firm grip on where we from because we know like we got to take care of the world we know first. We're going to take care of everybody. Let's take care of the world we know because when we take care of our community, it blossoms and it's going to inspire somebody else to do the same where they from.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you know, y'all ain't coming back shitting on nobody.
Yeah, I
Nah,
think,
nah,
and that's
yeah, it's
I
important.
mean, it's important to just, you know, you always got to stay on point because it could be 100 people that love you and one person that hates you, and that
He'll
one
do
person,
it.
that's all that need, that's all that's necessary. But it's like ultimately, I feel like, you know, it's certain ways that you affect people. Like somebody had asked me, like, what do you want your legacy to be? And I'm like, it's really not up to me. It's up to the people to determine your legacy. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like when you no longer here. Like you could say this is how I want to be remembered.
No mean
but
nothing.
it don't, you know
Like
what I'm
the
saying?
market decides your product. Like I've seen people make something for, like you know, the whites. They've made something and we'll use it to roll blunts with it. You know, next thing you know, that's what that's for.
Yeah.
Like y'all might have made that to, but that's not selling because of that.
Yeah.
The numbers y'all are looking at is because we've found that and fixed the problem with it. You know what I'm saying?
But what if everybody took that approach? Like
Right.
I used to think, like talk about the students, like they're my boss when I was teaching. I'm like, those are the legacy writers. I won't get a chance to say what they'll
They
remember
will.
how I made them feel. But like, what if everybody walked around with that intent?
Right.
Like every interaction, that person is potentially writing your legacy.
Right.
Because that moment, right? You may not ever see them again, but they'll remember the moment that you did see them.
And that's so dope.
Yeah.
That's so dope. Let me ask y'all this, because again, being financial guys, like I'm a rapper, right? Not a rapper. Fuck rap. I'm a podcaster.
You're
Full time.
You're an entrepreneur.
Shout out to you. I'm an entrepreneur. You
Yeah, it's bigger than a
see,
podcast.
Each one teach one.
It's bigger than a
Pull
podcast.
his coattail.
Who told-
yeah,
who
it's
told us
Lord. Yeah, yeah.
Dame, shout out
Yeah,
to Dame.
yeah. It ain't and
Stop calling it a podcast.
and you know something, I was there for that. And I'm sitting here still making that mistake. You see, but again, pull coattail.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do more of in our neighborhoods or in our culture. Hey, yo, bro, it ain't it, bro. Like with Fetty Wap, right? So I hear Fetty Wap get on there with Fat Joe, not understanding that his position in the game, right? So on my podcast, I said, well,
What happened with I heard?
so here's the Fetty Wap situation for people not aware of what happened. Fat Joe and Fetty Wap had a conversation about his deal, his structure of his deal, his situation now with his court proceedings, what may have led him to even have to be in those type of situations. And so Fetty Wap was clearing his communication saying that, hey man, I really didn't know the deal. You know, they told me if you go platinum, you get $1 million.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So he said, so when I'm looking, I said, oh, there's 1 million, up 2 million. I done went 3 times platinum, 3 million. And having that outlook at that time, I'm disappointed, but I understand, right? Because the information for him may not have been readily available. Where he's at now, to still be saying that, I find that to be egregious. Right? Because you walk through that. Now, what I say is, because I look at rap for what it's worth, and I'm, like you said, an entrepreneur. I need to stop playing myself, talking that rapper talk and that podcaster talk when you're dealing with an entrepreneur, right? I look at Fetty Wap, I say, all right, when you go platinum just once, you're funding a lot of shit for that label, bro. We ain't talking about See, he was just so focused on the sales, and we talking before streaming platinum. So we talking when platinum was really platinum, and dude had 4-5 records, number one, like
For sure.
So for you to think I'm deserve $1 million off 1 million sales says to me that, yo, we got to do some updating, you know? And so when I look at him still going with that information, my biggest thing is like, yo, understand, number one, rappers out there or young guys out there, if you're generating that amount of money, you can amend your contract. You should try to go in and amend that contract if it is a bad deal. Now, they may not do it like we see NBA Youngboy going through. I keep telling you, we need y'all, bro. Look at that. There's just two of multi-million-dollar rap guys that's battling, not understanding what the contract is saying. So have y'all guys ever thought about putting something together for rappers? A seminar, a book, or...
There's a guy we know.
It's funny you say that. Actually, I put it in my story yesterday with, I don't know if you saw Rowdy Rebel, where he said that he never got paid for music. He hasn't got paid for music yet. So, you know, it's the same story. Meek Mill, Rowdy Rebel.
Right.
It's the same.
Youngboy said you didn't get paid from YouTube.
Yeah.
The biggest guy on YouTube.
A percentage. Dude get a 10. See, this is my thought, and before you go, I'm sorry for cutting you out, big brother. My thing with NBA Youngboy is his deal was so bad, he triggered the YouTube algorithm. See, sometimes what they mean for bad ends up for good. Like they threw us scraps out there and we made soul food, right? Even though it's a bad situation in the information age that we in. But people don't know it's a whole nother fight going on, not only from our color, from the whites, the Asians. They trying to tap into their YouTube algorithm. Youngboy was able to do that simply off sheer work because the way his deal was structured. His deal was structured so bad to where he had to drop music in order to receive money. See, they were doing it more so like, for every song, I give you this because it'll generate that on the YouTube. So by default, he keep dropping these songs. Next thing you know, he's recommended everywhere.
Yep.
And if you know anything about YouTube or podcasting or any of that, you can't pay for the marketing that you'll get for the shows you may like or the suggestion. That landscape right there, that amount of marketing that you get from that alone, it drives number. It's a driver.
Yeah.
That's what he tapped into because he was dropping every week. And the shit was getting 5, 6, 7, 8 million views. He got like 100 gold and platinum plaques. But let's talk about you guys creating something to kind of help the rappers or kind of give them an understanding of points, deals, or even fuck around and make a EYL management for the rap side of things.
For sure. So, you know, it's still some ideas that we have to work through, but I feel like, you know, a union is a good idea. I heard Nori talking about that before. Right. I feel like, you know, if you look at, you know, the actors, the SAG union, like everybody has a union. The NFL, NBA, and, you know, it's like they go on strike if they don't like their deal and they have, you know, representation and stuff like that where, you know, there's no union for rappers and R&B artists and you know, musicians. So I feel like that should definitely happen right off the rip. But also a certain level of education because I feel like a lot of it is just done through miseducation. Yeah. And, you know, it's kind of hard to, you know, tell somebody you're 18 years old, you're just trying to, you know, get out the ghetto. Right. You're willing to just sign anything. You're not, you know, think about it later on. And then when you finally realize what happened, it's too late to change it. Right. So it's like, it has to be some level of education that's there early.
On the front end.
And then another part of that is actually just to give an alternative. So like shout out to United Masters. We've been working with them with companies like that where it's like, all right, there's an alternative to just signing to a label.
Giving you rights away.
Right. Because it's like even like just waiting for just have leverage. Like even for us, like, you know, we working with corporations right now. But we have leverage because we built everything independent and we're still independent. So now we have a proven track record. We have knowledge. We have the numbers to back it. So now our conversations is a lot different. If we would have tried to work with corporations when we first came out,
they'd have took all your ownership.
Exactly, because we didn't have the leverage.
Right. So speak about that though. Let's speak, because I hear Wallo always try to drill it home to us. And the word leverage, I understand it. I know what it means. I know what it is. I know what it looks like. And I know how to get it. But there's people watching that may not understand what do you mean when you say leverage? Because my leverage is I got a show or I got a record or I see a lot of times even leverage is value in my opinion, and value in whatever marketplace that you were in. Are you guys? Man, I'm all over the place. Are you guys a financial podcast, or do they categorize y'all music? What do they categorize?
Business.
Yeah, business and investing.
Business.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what was I just said before that?
Like the
Power
leverage.
of leverage.
Oh, yes. So talk to me about leverage. Like, what if we had to explain that to a rapper that's right now, million views on YouTube, labels reaching out to him, and he's broke, and no understanding. But following, see, they get you right they get you right there when you don't know that the value's there.
I look at it like this, not to cut you off.
No, cut me off.
If you look at like the successful people that have, when you look at Master P, when you look at Baby, Slim, one of the things that they had, why their deals are so legendary, is that they had leverage. They was independent and they had money. They had money. They had clout. They was moving units out their trunk at their time. So when they approach a label, it's like, look, I already got money. I can already do this myself. I'm self-sufficient. You can help because you do have a reach that I don't have. But if worse comes to worse, I could just stay in Louisiana and make $1 million a month.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I always look at it like whenever negotiating, the person who's willing to walk away is always going to have more leverage.
Yes.
But that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of leg work. And I feel like that happens in the 90s. You're not really seeing a lot now. Like you've seen some artists like Russ. There are some independent artists now. But it's kind of like you would think that all of that happened in the 90s. The whole game would be like that.
This is what they did to us. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Most things, see, you got to remember, most things that rappers know was told to them. They ain't reading nothing. They ain't going to, lipstick, alley or something and looking on no blogs and reading or no type of scientist, nothing. They just, most things they know were told to them. So they tricked us. They told us that was the wrong deal. I always argue that P and Baby had the right deal. That's the way the deal supposed to go. But they've tricked us into thinking, no, we deserve more. No, we had it wrong with Master P. What do you mean the 80-20? Well, he done everything. What was wrong about that?
Yeah.
Y'all didn't make as much, but to me, that's what a deal supposed to look like. Yeah. But again, they beat it in our heads because you got to think. We come off of the TLC. We come off the Salt and Peppers and all of those people doing those deals to run into the 90s and P and them do that.
Yeah.
And Baby and them do that. And it's like, yo, they finally got it right, but they hurry up and threw blankets over that. Like, that's the wrong deal. You can't get that. You'll never see a deal. Like, it was a lot of that rhetoric going around. You'll never see a deal like that. That's not right. 80-20, how did he do that? The greatest... I argue that that's the right deal. But when we deal with leverage, like somebody like me doing a podcast or somebody with a business, to me, business may be a little harder to get off the ground like a mom and pop soul food restaurant or something like that. But dealing with podcasting, like for me, 200,000 people listen. If you in a situation like that, but you don't know how did you guys structure your part? Well, you guys are business guys. How did you, where was the first person that gave y'all an opportunity from an ad standpoint or cut y'all a check from the podcasting or from a show? Who's the first check y'all got?
Yeah, I'm going to let him talk, but I wanted to say something.
Go ahead.
So, all right, this leverage thing is extremely important because it's like, for us, we have a lot of leverage because we don't need the money.
Right.
One of the mistakes that podcasters make is that they put too much emphasis on ad revenue. Ad revenue is great, but that's not the only way to get paid. So to answer your question, the first people that cut us a check for ad revenue was Anchor, which was a free app that we used to blast our podcast out, and they pretty much published it to Spotify, Apple, and all
like
of those.
Like a distributor.
Yeah, distribution.
So they give us ads, and it was a 70-30 split, 70% our way, 30% their way. It was cool. But that was the first, and then YouTube. So we had the content on YouTube, which was different from that.
Right.
And then, YouTube, we got the AdSense from YouTube.
Right.
But what really, separated us from everybody else in the podcast game is that, like you said, being in the financial space, there's a lot of different ways to monetize.
Right.
So, we have like the live event space. So the live events was big for us before Corona. Now it's picking up again. So the live events is a huge way to monetize. Merch, stuff that we wear every day.
Right.
So
I got something for y'all actually too.
Yeah.
Speaking about
appreciate that.
I need to get with y'all, get some of that too. Continue, my bad.
The merch is definitely a big revenue for us. So, and then also from the education standpoint, so now it's like, all right, we got the free education, which we kind of like say is like public school. That's YouTube, that's Instagram.
And it's so dope how
all
y'all
of that
structured this shit.
Yeah, that's so. But then it's like some people just want to be part of a community. Some people want more a hands-on approach. So that's the private school. So that's Eyl University, right? So
y'all kicking major flames.
We're not done yet.
Yeah, continue. I'm sorry. But I gotta keep giving you your flag because I'm seeing it.
How did they get all this?
Yeah, we need this though.
Going.
All these podcasts, cause they watch me, cause they think they stealing.
Yeah.
See, when they watch me, they think they coming to steal my talking points and say them something. They think they stealing, but they don't know it's part of my game. For you to run off, man, they gonna come back and get this. Cause when they get this, they gonna like y'all.
That's the game. Yeah. Like you telling
them. Man, I'm going right somewhere after this. Continue though.
So that was a big thing for us.
So public school, private school.
Yep. We learned about Patreon. So that was a way to actually, it's a financial way to support creatives.
Right.
So you give like extra bonuses, like, maybe like a FaceTime call with like the highest level Patreon. They might pay like $100 a month and they could connect with you once a month.
Right.
Or they get some merch or they get tickets to a show. So that's another way to actually monetize the situation.
Now that all depends on, I can do that with my following. But a up and coming without a big, well, you could do that
1,000%.
with 20 people.
We didn't even know, so this is the crazy part about Patreon. We didn't even know what it was. Somebody asked in a comment, I was reading the comments, say like, yo, are y'all on Patreon? And I Googled it. And I'm like, yo, we should be on Patreon.
Yeah.
So we created a tier system. We structured it around hip hop. And we're like, all right, well, this is what you get at each tier.
Right.
And so people joined that because, number one, they got access to us in the early days.
Right.
Like we calling people, having conversations and giving them financial advice.
Right.
But also they got to see some behind the scenes early on. Like before everybody.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying.
And so like what it does, like it was like, all right, well now there's a community. So like they get some things that are exclusive. And so we know like, all right, they must have came from Patreon because there's nowhere else that can get they can get that. And so that was another way to get some. But what you just said was the key, right? Like we giving the information out.
Right.
That's how you build community.
Right.
Because once you hear the information, you're gonna tell them like, you know where I heard it from? I got to go back to them.
Yeah.
But we took that and we're like, wait, we're getting all this information. We need to start executing on some of it. And so we got a lot of people that come on, a lot of entrepreneurs that talk about their business. And so we're sitting there like students. Like, all right, tell me more about your business.
Yes.
As soon as they leave, like I know by the
implement.
I know by the way he's asking the questions, I know the conversation we about to have after they leave. It's going to be like, all right,
man.
Let's do that.
Like I'm from the hood, I'm the big homie.
Yeah.
So I don't, dog, it been so long since I need my people to see males embrace other males.
Yeah.
Because it's always a competition thing. You know what I'm saying?
So I told dudes from day one, it ain't no competition.
Nah.
Especially when it come to me and my brother. Like I look at him like my brother. Like,
right.
He's at my house. He eats like at my table.
Yo,
but like I said, like I'm okay with him being LeBron James.
Right.
Like, if I'm Dwayne Wade and Mike is Chris Bosh, we all go into the Hall of Fame.
Lord have
Let's win as many championships as we can while we in our prime.
I need that.
So that's the mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like back to the business thing was like,
go ahead.
They're talking about their business. We'd be a fool not to implement some of the things that we learning. And so
how much game have y'all got on the journey that y'all that's y'all
bro, we learn every episode.
Everything,
bro.
like,
learn it all the time.
I feel like everything that we have built has been through stuff that we've learned, on the fly. And it's like 50 said one time, he was like, there's no school for this. You gotta pick up the information and process as you go.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. I feel like, there's really no school for this. Like everything that we learning, there's no school on how to start a podcast. There's no school on how to have a trucking business, how to have vending machines.
Right.
This stuff isn't. That's why we created our platform, because it's like has become an institution where people are learning, but we're learning at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like we're learning in real time all of this information, and as we learn it, we apply it. And
Right.
like I said, as far as the education, that gives us a lot of leverage, because now that gives us different multiple streams of income. And now it's like, all right, you know, we're not relying on just one stream of income, or we're not relying on just one corporate
Which takes you out of that situation to be so quick to sell your ownership.
Which gives you
exactly.
That goes back to the leverage.
Right,
now,
that's
right?
what.
Like,
And I seen what he's doing. There, so we're drawing it back. So when we talk about podcasters not knowing how to make money, you just gave about 5 or 6 different ways in which you could do that. Now, my new question is, how did you guys garner the audience? Would you say, and this is a good question that just popped in my head, would you say it was more important the branch off interviews you done, or the content that you guys were putting out, or is it a combination?
I think it's a combination of both. I think the biggest thing was like we never went into it with the money play. We never said we're going to start this podcast so we can be millionaires.
Right.
We came into it because we knew that people needed information. We knew information. We thought people like understood the things we were talking about, and we like quickly realized once we started putting out episodes, wait, people don't know these things? And so we kept putting out. It wasn't like, all right, this is going to be our business. This is going to change our lives forever. It was just like, all right, this is how we naturally talk. Like people who see us are like, oh, that's Shadi and Troy. That's how they always talk.
Yeah.
And so we knew that the value would be upfront, and the money would be a byproduct of the value that we put out.
That's
and so like we know that we don't know everything in every industry. And so it was like, all right, well, let's find people who do. Let's put them on Front Street. Let's help them grow their business. We'll learn from it as well. We'll implement some of the things that they're teaching. And the beauty of it is that the people, like how you said, like, yo, y'all my big brothers, people have watched us. Like I remember when y'all was in the dining room.
Yeah.
I remember that. I seen y'all in Oakland, like they've grown with us.
Yeah.
So that also, you know what I'm saying, that builds community, because it's like, yo, I was with y'all when y'all started. I love where y'all going, and I can see where y'all headed. And we all on this journey together. So
for sure,
it makes it real.
Do y'all? How do y'all vet the people? Because let's talk about the cap in y'all space. Because you know, in financial guys, you know, I got a few questions for you guys about the cap guys.
Cap guys.
Yeah. So in the financial space, what do you guys do about making? I mean, first of all, how long does it take for information to be outdated? And then number 2, what do you guys do for people that just copy your information and sell it?
Some information is never outdated. It just depends, because it's like, you know, if you're talking about investing, right? The same principles might apply 20 years ago. It's just it might be a newer version of things, but some stuff isn't outdated.
Right.
Some stuff does change. Like they might change tax laws, and like, you know, what was true last year might not be true this year.
Right.
So that's like on a case by case basis as far as how long the information. But most of the time, the information is still good. It just
little tweak.
Exactly, little tweak here and there.
Yeah.
As far as like people like you said taking our information and selling it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know, to be completely honest with you about it.
Is there a way to stop that?
Yeah, I'm sure. Like if you
legally, I'm sure, but I mean,
yeah. I mean, I don't think we've really had an issue where people have like literally just taken that we know about. I mean, of course, you can't police
everything, right?
But you know, it's one of these things where it's kind of hard. It's kind of trying to like catch water, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you say something and somebody else can just say it after you say it, and then like, you know what I'm saying, put their own remix on it and stuff like that. So you know, that's not even stuff that we really honestly even focus on.
Right. No, of course not.
I feel like you know, our goal has always been to provide information and to, you know, keep spreading the tent and keep getting bigger and bigger to influence and affect more and more people. And with that, I mean, you're going to have knockoffs. Like even our merch, the people sell knockoffs of our merch all the time. And it's like...
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's the thing, when and that's the thing that we pride ourselves on, is like we're gonna be original.
Right.
So after a while you're gonna know, like, they took that from them. They took that from them. Like they're trying to talk like them, but like I said, we get to be ourselves every day.
And I'm not necessarily, you guys got to, I just told you guys, you just left, you was with me at Revolt not even a month ago. After that, you dudes left it with the New York, sold out Apollo. Went to Miami, did Cali. Went to the Bay, sold out something. Decided UTA yesterday. It's like, yo, these dudes are making me feel like I ain't doing enough, man. But, you know, I'm just happy to be able to link in with y'all, man. Hopefully build, you know, something with you guys. Some leg of something, right? Because, again, it's all about us connecting, us one hand wash the other, both wash the face. I'm not into doing nothing for nothing. Like so, in the hood too, I think they give us a bad representation. Like, you know, it's a bunch of people down through there that want something for nothing, and I think that it could come off that way, but they don't understand what value they have, and they don't understand how to implement, you know, that value, and I differ from them in that way. But let's talk about because with I was saying that, not that you guys care about. Again, you guys got a lot going on. Less about y'all and more about the people, right? Because I'm more so saying, like, if they're taking what my brothers are doing for free and then they turning around, repackaging it, putting a little tweak on it and selling it to my people, right? Then it's like, damn, how do we navigate that? Now, let me ask you this. With the course thing, because everybody that got courses, I want to talk about the course. How, number one, how can a course be $5,000 and $99? Meaning, I know some guys out there that of course would be $25,000, right? And then, but for this week only, $99. Like, how could it be $5,000 and $99?
I honestly think that the value of anything is what the people place on it.
That's true.
And it's really hard to say what the value of something is, right? Because it's like, all right, those Jordans that you got on your feet right now, what's the value?
You could get $2,000 from them on the right day, with the right limited amount out, you know. Right. So it depends.
So I feel like education is the same way, right? Like, it's all relative. You know, you go to Harvard, you're paying $60,000 a year for education, right? Is it worth $60,000? Most people would say yes. Why? Because Harvard.
Right.
The name Harvard means something, right?
Right.
So if you go to NYU, you pay $60,000. Is it worth it? Most people would say yes, because the name NYU means something, right? The information might not be the same across the board, though.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, you might learn more at NYU, you might learn more at Harvard.
Right.
You might learn more from state school. You might learn more from a junior college, right? But the value that we place on it is based off of, you know, social norms, representation, reputation, things of that nature. So the same thing with the courses. I look like, if you buying a course to, let's say you want to start trucking, right? And you buy the trucking course, and let's say it's $2,000, right? Now, that $2,000 is your education.
Right, which is the same like if you would have went to one of these schools.
Any school, right? It's a lot less. If you look at it from that standpoint, paying $2,000 for a specific thing is a lot less than paying $60,000 for everything. To learn about reading, to learn about, you know, history.
I'm driving trucks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. $60,000 a semester.
Yes.
4 years.
Right.
Yes.
4 years. Exactly.
So it's like, now you put yourself in $220,000 of money that you don't even have. So now you take out student loan. Right?
That's so, game, boy, y'all better be eating this up.
Yeah. So I feel like with courses, all courses are not the same, right? Some courses are better than others. Some courses might be overpriced. Some courses might be underpriced.
Right.
Now it's up to you to actually do your research, do your due diligence, look and see. Because, like, for me, I actually purchase courses for myself. Like, if I want to learn something, the courses, I think, provide a streamlined way to have the education.
Or that niche.
Exactly.
Niche,
it's like,
whatever.
The argument is like, whatever you can find free on Google. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but you have to streamline.
You gotta go through 1,000 hours. And if you want to do that, then fine. But me, I don't have time to do that. I want it in 2-3 hours, video presentation. I want to just go through it and say, okay, check off this is what I need to learn, So, and that education is free argument really isn't valuable to me, because it's like, you never use that when it's time to go to college. I never heard one person say there's no need to go to college because everything you need to learn is free.
That's good game.
You either just don't go to college or you go to college.
Right.
Nobody ever says there's no need to go to college because you can Google it. What you're learning in University of South Carolina, you can Google, so don't go to USC.
Nobody never says that.
I never heard it.
Never says that.
But you got to feed the beast.
They don't say that.
You got to feed the beast.
Yeah, yes, sir. And you know what I think they're doing? Anything that scribbles outside the lines, you know, they tend to get back in, you know.
But that I spoke about this the other day. It was like, the education system, I worked as a teacher for 13 years, is based on the Industrial Revolution. Right? And so the Industrial Revolution, the purpose of it was to create jobs.
Create workers.
Right? The school system was built the same exact way, right? It's industrialized education. That's why everybody goes to school at 8:30.
Uniform.
They have uniforms a lot of times. The bells go off.
Yeah.
Same thing happens in factories.
Man,
right?
I never even thought about that.
Lunchtime, everybody leaves at the same time, right? But
good game.
when we were trying to create workers in the Industrial Revolution, now it's the same principle, right? School, formal education in schools K through 12 is designed for you to go to college, for you to be a worker,
Right.
to go back into the factory
Right.
and do the same thing.
Right.
What we're teaching and what people in the space are creating entrepreneurs, right? So that's completely different.
Scribbling outside
and,
the line.
And so like people are like, well, why don't they teach finance in school? Well, if they did, right, if they taught financial
You
literacy,
won't go get a job.
you wouldn't go get the job. We
Right.
got to feed the beast.
Right.
Student loan debt is the largest debt in the country,
And it's bullshit.
right? I'm a part of it. Like I pay student loan debt, right? But that can cripple somebody, especially people that come from our community. That's a very, very big decision at 18 that you got to make
Yeah.
that could cripple you for the next 10 to 15, if not 20 years.
Yes.
And we're telling people, go, 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 go. That's the way, that's the way, that's the way. Until you see guys like us come on and like, I'm like, yo, I was in that seat. I sat in that seat. I'm paying student loan. There's another way too.
Right.
Right? It's not going to be for everybody, but it can be for some people.
And for you guys to drill it down, right? And say, all right, this is for trucking. This is for that. Like, that helps a lot, man. Because, again, like you said, see, school teaches you how to take tests. You know, you get, I heard 50 say, you get enough information, you get to the test, take the test, and then you go to another one. Get enough information. It's like they're not teaching you how to go out and say, I'm going to run a business, taxes, this. That's why I'm saying I don't like, I look at school.
The testing is a business, right? Like
exactly, because they use that like the stock market uses the stocks.
Bro, the same people make the same tests, right? So New York State, the state tests are created by a company, right? If they don't, like I think it's called McGraw or something like that. If they don't have the test being provided to the schools and the school districts, they lose money.
Right.
So they make it mandatory that you got to take the test. Starting in 3rd grade, state test, all the way to 12th grade, right? Like even when we were in school, it was like you got to take your Regents exam. And I was like, damn, these are tough. Like I got my Regents diploma, but if I try to go to school in Connecticut, a New York Regents means nothing. If I go to school in California, it means nothing. So what are we doing it for?
Right.
Because it's a business. There's a business.
sense.
All of it is a business. School is a business.
Yeah, everything
College is
is.
the biggest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they've been preparing you for it the whole time. Where does that data go? When my kid turns 24, what's his 4th grade test going to mean?
Right. Did y'all parents push back on y'all like, bad idea, get a job, you got to go to college, and I'm like, yeah, but I done finagled my way into, there's this money right there.
Mm-hmm.
But they're telling me that's a risk. But I'm thinking, that's a risk. I'm thinking both of these are a risk because I see people get out of college with a working degree and nothing to do.
Yeah,
So now I'm in debt with nothing to do. Now I got to come holler at Earn Your Leisure for a niche to even pay them back for. So I wait, like it's a weird cycle. So did you guys ever have anyone in y'all family push back on y'all, like, or did they just go with the finance? Because that's a job that nobody hires, bro. Financial guy. Like, it's like, who hires a financial? Like, we don't. I mean, you may do,
Yeah.
but.
Well, that was because it was him.
Exactly. I want him as mine. I know he too busy now, but
Yeah, like before he started, like again, supporting your brothers, right?
Right.
He started, like I remember sitting in the car, he graduated, he's like, what I'm gonna do? I remember him locking himself in his crib for like 8 days to study to be in the financial industry. And I was like, all right, he worked that hard? Yo, yeah. Financial planning? Yeah. Sign me up, bro. I'm be your first client.
that's dope.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, I feel like, for me, no. I feel like, because I always wanted to do independent. I never had a job, like even like being a financial advisor is a commission-based job.
Right,
so
right.
I never had
Eat what you kill.
Yeah. So I never had a real job. So I never was in that mindset of go to school and get a job. Like, you know what I'm saying? I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to just do my own thing. It was just a matter of figuring out
How to do that.
what was going to work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that took time. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. Like, it was many different things that led up to the point where we are now. But it wasn't like, all right, this is gonna be, we're gonna start a media company and we're gonna do this, like, you know what I'm saying?
And
like,
see,
nigga,
the
no.
market to help you figure things out. You just got to jump on out there and trust the game. That's why I keep telling myself, even getting up with y'all, I'm like, yo, bro, this is a very important interview. You got all these people watching you. You know, I'm on the phone with Revolt. You know, I got to tell y'all something that I want y'all to help me with Revolt. And I matter of fact, I said on air. So I'm talking to the CEO of Revolt yesterday.
Tatavi,
Yeah,
shout out
he
to him.
love. I mean, he takes a liking to me. Shout out to bruh. Appreciate you. You know, people tend to see in me what I'm trying to do. So shout out to him. I told him, I said, listen, what I want to do is at the beginning of February, I want to get and maybe we can take it to y'all network or Charlamagne. I'm putting it somewhere. But what I want to do is I want to bring in you guys. You know my thing, bridging these gaps. I want to bring in you guys. I want to bring in Money Man. I want to bring in 19 Keys, which is y'all boy. Shout out 19 Keys.
Yep.
And a couple of other rappers. Now I want to have a show specifically to black people about what they can do in real time with their tax money. You know, because where I'm from, they get a lump sum right then. And you give them 90 days, it's over with. So if I can get right there, if we can get, us as a community can get right there, we may not help everybody. Some people gonna look off. But I guarantee you, if we can get there and put these people like this, that, do this, or go here, or it's the same with y'all Market Mondays type thing. It's where it's like direction, bro. Ain't nobody, and I'm not holding no hands. I'm not tying no shoes that's unlaced. I'm not picking up no lunch boxes that's dropped. I'm just telling you direction. Over. Yeah. Everybody over. I don't have time to break this down, you know, to one-on-one, but I'm just saying, take a look over there while you got your 15 grand. Cause bro, when I tell you they're spending on anything, I know this to be the case, bro.
Yep.
They'll instantly go out they in Vegas popping bottles. Yes, literally last week you didn't know how you were gonna eat, and you instantly switched your mindset to go super consumer. See, that's what we do. We'll go super consumer. We won't even be a little light consumer, you know, wear our assets and liability, but maybe a little Nike undergarment. You know, we gonna go full Nike or full Gucci. We ain't even gonna mix in. We go super consumer. But I want to do something, and that's just a small pitch. Of course, we had to drill that down and make that a real thing. But I want to do something, even if it's a 15-minute thing, 30-minute thing, something quick but informative and effective to tell people what they can and cannot do. Do y'all ever get people begging? Because I know y'all are financial gurus, so everybody think you got it to spare. You know, I know. Do y'all ever get people? I mean, because everything ain't ready for an investment. You know, and so people have to understand that. But do you guys? I would reframe that question because I'm sure you got loved ones that'll look at that and say, "He's talking about me."
Not you.
Right. Do you have a high level of traffic in regards to investment? Opportunities, people trying to say, you know, get with me, big bruh from the hood, remember me from back in the day, you know, things.
Nah, that definitely happens for sure. People that you know, people that you don't know, people like walk up to you in the street like, yo, I got this company, I got this, that.
Right.
Sometimes it's good, but you know, it's like one of these things that I feel like the best way to build traction is you shouldn't even be in a situation where you have to ask.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But that takes a lot of work. And then it's like when you actually, people recognize, like,
right,
this is something I want to rock
right.
with.
I want to be a part of that. Yeah.
Exactly. Because once again, going back to the leverage, right? Just psychologically, if you asking for something, you automatically, even if it's something that's good, I'm automatically looking at you like,
right.
It might not
that's
be
how
worth
I
it.
am too. Like, don't ask me.
When people, they ask that all the time, like, yo, how do I get on the show? How do I get on the show? What do I take to get on the show? I give them the same response. I said, the people will tell us that you need to be there.
And that's why I like to tell the youngsters, bro, like, it's so gangsta, and this universe will do it for you, bro. If you could just put your head down and get to the bread. Yeah. Start digging. It'll do it. Cause even when I reached out to bro, I'm like, look, but see, I know my language says information. not know it all, but something's up with little dude. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm telling you, just like the CEO Revolt, like he pulled me to the side at the summit.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? It's like,
his
you know what I'm saying? What's up with you? Your line of question is a little different than everybody else's. And so you get to kick some game.
Yeah.
But
Can I just tell you really quickly
Go ahead.
about like that same scenario of like just putting out value, and the people would tell you. We had the president of Revolt in my dining room. I personally knew him at the time. And it was like episode 21. And in our heads was like, yo, we got the president of Revolt. Like, we should be on Revolt.
Right.
And he was like, when it's time, it'll happen.
Right.
Keep going.
Right.
2.5 years later,
You on Revolt.
we on Revolt.
Right.
It's like us starting saying like, yo, we need to be on the Breakfast Club. Somebody called
Can't do
Charlamagne.
that.
We can't. Like, we
Yeah.
just grind and
Yeah,
grind and
you
grind.
can't
to a
do
point
that.
It was like, yo, we on the Breakfast Club. Yo, we have a relationship with Envy. We have a relationship with Charlamagne. Shout out to you. We have a relationship with her. Because the grind never stopped. The value never stopped. We just kept going. The people were like, yo, they need to be there.
Right.
So we ended up in that position.
So let's stay there for a second with the asking for things. Because, again, I need people to know this, even at Revolt, right? Because Big Bank and them got me there. I'm interacting with everybody and it's cool. But I noticed something. I said, a lot of these people approaches off. They bump into the rapper or to the person that maybe they think can change their life or change their circumstances, and they're hyper aggressive with the, I'm doing this, man. I need you to and I'm telling them that's not effective. That is not effective at all. And I even told them, I went as far to tell them, even if someone's shaking their head like, yeah, no, for sure, they're being courteous because we're human beings, right? I'm not gonna just try to shit on you, but I'll know within the first 10 seconds of you talking to me if I'm engaged for real. Like I had a guy. Those guys that was with me at Revolt, they didn't know me personally, they knew my show. So they start, oh bro, over here, like then they start tagging along with me.
Yeah. Now,
when me and Walker were chopping it up, one of them come through and like I was telling Walker about y'all, like, yo, these dudes, yo, Walker, I know you kicked the crypto, but we looking at effectiveness. These dudes is effective, man. Yeah. And I mean that with everything I got. So, but anyway, so dude go up to Walker Flocka, right? Hey, I'm a manager, and Walker listen to him because he think he with me. So Walker like, what's up, my boy there? He like, man, I'm a manager, man. I got this going on with these artists. Walker asked some very specific questions. What's your overhead? Well, right now, ain't what's this? What's that? And those questions he answered, he asked, you answered no to. So at that point, his mind was made up. So when he said, well, not right now, big bro, get this, and the universe align us back up. Being real instead of even, I also hate the fake kick it. The fake, I'm coming through there, man. I like you, man. You the truth, man. And then they come up missing. Because we from the street and we, certain things like that. It's like, but anyway, so Walker tell him that he went to double down and like he finna convince Walker right here. Nah, Walker, what it is, I got it, man, because I had to tap him in real time. Stop that. Because whatever you say right now, it ain't changing. His mind is already made. You're not going to reverse him from, you know what I'm saying? So anytime you come up, like you say, when you ask for these things and you're not in a position to warrant those things from, not me saying, because I'm not the end all be all or the person that says who is and who isn't. The market does. Like we always say, the market will say. So if the market hasn't placed you there, right, and I give you that, I just don't feel like that's a bad thing. If I tell you, nah, man, I can't do nothing with it. Now, with people asking y'all for stuff, because I definitely wanna talk about that. I'm in a situation right now to where I tell my friends all the time, I want to see you eat. And I'm sure y'all want to see everybody eat based on what y'all doing. Mm-hmm. But that don't mean I want to cook for you. Yeah, I want to see you get a plate, but I don't want to be the one in the kitchen to make it, meaning I can't give you my money. I can't give you my business, my avenues, everything I got to bleed it dry, especially if you're not ready. Is leverage the only thing that makes a business ready, or a podcast or a show or a rapper? Is leverage the only thing that makes them ready?
ready for like
ready to be able to solicit money or to, be in a situation to want to link with some of these corporations like you guys have done here lately?
Yeah, I think it is, but there's different forms of leverage.
Okay.
So there's leverage as far as having a following.
Right.
That's leverage.
Right.
There's leverage as far as having money. That's leverage. There's leverage as far as having something that's a barter.
So
right?
do you think money is leverage?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Especially like I said, especially when you're negotiating and coming to working with like corporations and things of that nature.
Oh, because you already got money.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, okay,
There's
okay,
nothing
okay.
like telling you like, no, we good. We don't need it. We don't need
For
you.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Now, what if you have money and no audience? I know a lot of rap guys, from the hood, there's millionaire street dudes, and we'll dump $250,000 in this. Their music ain't nothing, but we'll dump $250,000 in the music and stand still.
Yeah.
But that's why I wanted to clarify that just you having money ain't the leverage, but you having money and in conjunction with X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like a lot of different things have to come into play, and sometimes you think that it's right time for something, but it's not the right time. Like even going back to the Dame Dash thing, like reached out to Dame early, and I don't even think he never saw it, and it's kind of frustrated because we reached out to him a few times. So I'm like, I feel like like we at the point where he should come on our platform,
right?
But that was a selfish standpoint for me, looking at it from my standpoint of like, this is what I want to happen.
But I got to push back, and this probably be a good part of the part. I got to push back when you say that was selfish on you. And the reason I got to push back on that is because look at you.
Well, when I say selfish, I'm looking at it from, I'm only looking at it from I don't know what he had going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if he even saw the message. I don't know if he had family issues. You never know what somebody else got going on. I'm looking at it like, I want it to happen. It should happen.
No, that, yeah,
You know
I
what I'm
get
saying?
that. I get that.
So
Okay,
it's
okay,
like,
okay.
but when it was time to happen, it happened.
Right, right.
And once we had enough leverage, meaning like it made sense. Like even for me to even be able to call Kenny, and he
do that.
He did that because
that is good enough to do that.
Yeah, he only did that because he felt we was at the level and it made sense. Like, you know what I'm saying, for him to leverage his relationship with Dame.
Makes so
you know what I'm
much
saying?
sense.
So if it was 6 months earlier, that might not have happened.
But see, me being a creative and also being on this side still connected to so many people. I got so many people pulling on me for these little driblets I got that it's like I got to try to teach ownership and power to them, like, But if looking at where you guys sit right now, even without a Dame Dash interview, even without any of those interviews, I still say that when y'all started, that I just wish that we had that eye to be able to see like this gonna be special right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause there's so much shit out there. I know it's hard, but I wish we just had that like.
But we're not trained for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Our eyes aren't trained for it, right? So you talk about the athletes and the rappers. How long have our eyes been trained to be like, that's wealth, that's success in our community?
Exactly.
Right? We never highlight the entrepreneur.
Right.
The kid that's the entrepreneur is like the nerd. Like nobody talks to him.
Right,
Or the
right.
kid that was in the computer room all day while we was trying to play ball. Like, who's looking at him? The
Right.
girls don't even like him.
Not yet.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like he's building something in his mind. He's
Right.
building something that's tangible
Right.
for the future.
Right.
But we've always looked at athletes and entertainers as success.
Right.
Until you meet the athletes and entertainers and you realize that they've obtained a certain level of success, but they missing the education.
They not liberated.
Yeah,
so
they're not.
that's
'Cause
not.
Even at that level, like they're still working for
Yeah,
someone.
that's what I'm saying. There's no liberation in rap. None. Those like Jay and Diddy, they spawned out of that to become liberated.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody that's parked at the rap hotel,
Yeah.
they got a problem, bro.
Yeah, like the guys that we look at, like the highest, like the Dre's, the Diddy's, Jay, Ye, all like majority of it came from the leverage that they used to
Right.
brand in the spirits industry. Obviously, Kanye with fashion and apparel, it's changed him because of the leverage he did from his music.
Yes.
The music can get you to a certain point. It gets you the
Yes.
audience, right? And that will create like, all right, I'm popular enough that I could branch off and do this, right? Dre changed the game when he teamed up with Aveen for the
Apple. Yeah,
right?
the Beats by
Dre, and then
by
Apple
Dre.
comes and buys it. That changed his life. Well,
That's what I'm
music
saying.
was the foundation. Here's the
Exactly.
product.
Music is just the biggest marketing vehicle in the world. Like hip hop, it could take you from here to Africa.
Right.
They don't even know in some spots like where they won't even know English, but they'll know In the Club by 50 Cent and things like that. So we got our reach is powerful. But again, that's where the confusion comes in. At, bro, he's sitting next to money. He don't got money. You know, he's sitting next to money, right? They're going to make him look like money because that's part of him selling shit to y'all. But he not liberated. He's sitting there with no information. Like, that's why I say when I see Fetty Wap, our culture got to spend time on that.
Yeah.
Even to see him sit across from Fat Joe, I felt like, damn, Fat Joe, give him the game.
But he had to make mistakes too. So we
Right.
watched Joe make mistakes. But I feel like there's a change that's happening, right? And so when we listen to Lil Baby, we listen to Savage. Like these guys are talking about financial literacy
Ownership,
in their
right,
music.
right.
Even what Quality Control's doing as a label.
Ooh, shout out my boy.
You see what I'm
P.
saying? Like
Yeah.
they got a sports agency. Cash
Yeah.
Money did that, but now they got a podcast network too.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, well, focus is music, but now that's just the olive branch to everything else we about to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Right. And I just believe, like I said, rap, man, being one of the biggest vehicles, marketing vehicles. But again, no liberation attached to it.
But also, I think it comes down to how we train to look at music and sports, like not just like everything that we look at is music.
But why though?
Because that's just culturally, and I feel like I remember like probably like a year and a half ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I'm like, yo, yeah, you know, New York is dead. Nothing's coming out of New York right now. New York is dead. Da 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 da. Da. And she like, yo, y'all coming out of New York.
For sure.
And I had to stop myself. I'm like, I'm thinking just music.
Right. See, that's even you as
Exactly.
you kick it and push.
And we doing it.
Yeah.
She
See,
like,
that's
she
what
like,
I'm
she like, yo,
saying.
y'all started a whole movement.
Yeah.
And, you know, y'all the face of a movement, da 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 da. And y'all coming out of New York. So y'all coming out of New York. So how is New York dead? And I'm like, nah, you're right. And I had to even think how I'm looking at it. Like, you know what I mean? So I say that to say, we always look like, all right, this is the new artist that's coming out. This is the new Kendrick Lamar. This is the new, but it's like, you know, somebody could be more impactful or just as impactful in a podcast space as entrepreneur. And it's
Right.
We don't even look at it like that.
Right.
So it's like we gotta
Right.
we gotta rechange the whole way.
See,
that
we
look
don't,
at-
but I do.
now we helping the vision.
But right. And so that's why when you hear me push up on y'all and say, oh, most important people in the world right here, and I stand on that. And
Appreciate that.
see, y'all don't know what that mean because y'all don't really know I don't co-sign nothing. Nothing. I don't believe the rappers. I'm a student of the game, so I know what they lying about. I know where they went and got it from. I know what they hiding. I know what they ain't. Even in part, I know it all.
Yeah.
I've sat and studied it all, so I don't co-sign nothing because I know what they doing, right? So when I say the most important people in the space, there's a few people, or not a few, a bunch of people that know so what? That dude listens to, like, I don't listen to music. I pull up today, listen to books. Like, I'm a podcast book guy. I'm one of those guys, so I'm not into all of the, right? So I'm telling y'all most important people. Let me ask y'all this. What makes a good investor? Is it, see, let me put some framework down. Because on a good investor, I would say making money, right? If his returns are good. But I'm wondering, is a copycat, even if he's getting the returns, but he's a copycat, is he still a good investor? For example, we see the impact of Biggie Smalls. Mm-hmm. When Biggie was out, his impact was so electrifying to our culture that years after he died, they spawned a Gorilla Black. You see where it's not necessarily Biggie. Sound like, is that big? You know, it's giving you the feel of what we know to be Biggie, but it ain't Biggie. Even leaning on the Biggie shit, leaning right up on it, right? Yeah, no, don't run from the comparisons. Yeah, compare me to Biggie, type of thing. So if an investor, what makes a good investor in you guys' opinion? Is it purely returns? Is it understanding the market? Is it like what makes a good investor?
I think knowledge is extremely important. That's
Okay.
like the pillar. You shouldn't invest in anything that you don't have a clear understanding of. So knowledge is extremely
How
important.
can you have a clear understanding of all this stock shit? Ain't it a bunch of shit out there?
It doesn't have to be. People overcomplicate it, right? Like,
See how they got us thinking?
yeah, it doesn't have to be. I tell people all the time, like, people know what to invest in because you're already consumers of it, right? Like, you got an Apple Watch, you got a MacBook.
Right.
It shouldn't be like a thought, like, what, should I invest in Apple? You
But
already.
is that a good term? See, you got to think who we talking to.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you talking to the streets.
Yeah.
So you talking to somebody like, and I'm gonna give you real numbers here.
Yeah.
So you talking to somebody that'll go take 140,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spend it, make $2,000. These dope boy dudes ain't making no bunch of money,
Right.
So what's happened is the game is so messed up to where they'll grab something and make $2,000 off a whole thing, $2,000-$3,000, but that whole thing gets you a life sentence.
Right.
So what did you just say?
So I'm saying like this, right? Like, even it applies to everybody, right? I guarantee this Christmas somebody's gonna buy their kid an iPhone.
Oh, you said okay.
Somebody's gonna buy their kid an iPad.
right.
Somebody's gonna buy their
Invest in
kid an
what we use.
iWatch or earbuds. All the same company, right?
Now that's my question. The
Yeah, go ahead.
turnaround.
Yeah.
Not the turnaround, but the profit margin or the turnaround.
So that when you ask what would make a good investor, he said knowledge. The other thing is patience. You see what I'm saying? So like, if you
But that comes with the knowledge to know the weight on it.
just wait, like any investment, right? Whether it's real estate or the stock market,
That's what they
It's,
got.
it's patience. Like we're so quick to be like, yo, I want to find the penny stock that turns into $10.
That's because the dope game. That's the dope game doing that to us, bro.
What's the risk?
It's a hell of a risk,
Right.
right? So yeah, the risk and reward it ain't even close.
What's the chances of you buying an iPhone next year?
super good?
So you're already consuming it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're already investing
How
in
do we
the company.
teach that? How do we make that tangible for them? Because I'm telling you, man, they'll take, like, say there's a little dude out there with 20 grand,
Yeah.
and he buying some weed, or he trying to, do his little thing. Like, he might take that 20 grand and buy him 5 pounds of weed, right? Those 5 pounds of weed might, for that 20, he might see 31,000 or some, like that. So they looking at stuff, and he's waiting on it. Mm-hmm. There's a wait involved in that, so we know how to wait. It's just I think we don't know what we looking at.
But what did Wayne say?
Huh?
Fast money don't last too long. You gotta chase it, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. And we crash out all the time with it. You know what I'm saying?
Now imagine if that 20,000 he invested in a company like Apple or Microsoft and let it sit there for 3-4 years. He would have got that money, and he never has to sell it, and there's no risk. In fact, the money that he probably made, he can actually buy the products that he was going to buy anyway, right? From investing. If that company, if the Apple stock goes from $150 to $300,
he made money.
You made $150 each share.
Yeah.
You could have bought the headphones because Apple paid for them already from the investment you made.
Right.
And there's no risk. You literally are doing the knowledge, you're doing your research, studying the company. You already know the products that they're putting out. And now it's just like, all right, let's just execute on it and be patient.
So the financial space isn't like content or the rap space in which you put out an album, right? And these lyrics on this album they're from Jay-Z and they're his lyrics, and it's almost like y'all put shit out and just be like, eat it up, and we know it's some stealing in, do y'all, I mean, yeah, maybe it ain't stealing. Maybe it's someone just carrying the torch even further.
I feel like, it's inspiration. Everybody gets inspired from different things.
That's facts.
And, you want to add different things or tweak different things to it, and that's cool. But as far as like plagiarism, that's different. Like,
that's what I worry about with y'all, bro.
Yeah, plagiarism
I swear, bro.
is never okay. No matter what space you in, it's never okay just to take what somebody is doing and then just putting a new face on it and
Are
acting
you telling me y'all don't worry about that, bro? Y'all are numero uno in a space that seems to be like, there ain't even a two.
I feel like people already copy us all the time, but I always feel like the problem with copying somebody is that you're always one step behind.
Exactly.
And you gotta wait.
And you don't know where they going.
Exactly.
Right?
And you gotta wait.
Yeah.
You gotta wait to see when something happens next.
Right.
So it's like,
right.
all right, you could copy what we did, but that's old. By
Right.
the time you copy it, we're already on to something else.
Right.
And that actually is a challenge because it's like now you got to stay up to date. You guys always constantly stay fresh. And now what you're doing is you just leading the pack. And now everybody's just following. But it's good to be the leader because you can dictate wherever you want it to go.
Right.
Dictate wherever you want it to
And
go.
then when you know somebody copy you throw in a little something to throw them off here and there.
But that's the thing. Like, so you can look at it from that standpoint, but I could look at it from this standpoint. It's like, yo, let's do something that can change the world, and let's see him copy that. So like, all right, well, let's go to Legos.
Yeah,
All
the
right, well,
Africa thing was
yeah,
big.
Let's see if people follow that trend. Like,
Yo,
let's
bro,
go to,
let's
go to Cairo.
Something else.
You know what I'm saying? Some things that it's going to be tough to duplicate. Like, you just ran off what we did in the last 2 weeks. But if we ran off what we did in the last 6 months,
Ain't no copying that.
It's going to be tough to say, like, oh, I can do the Invest Fest.
Ain't no copying
Right? Because now we at our Basel.
I know y'all can't see it. Let me see it. Ain't no copying that, bro. Y'all doing too much. What let's talk about this is a good one. For us, right? For blacks, our people. One thing we won't do, like I said, most rappers, most entertainers, they only know things that's being told to them. But one thing we will do is utilize some information once we get it, especially once they package it right. We saw, and y'all tell me if y'all aware of this, we saw this about 6 months ago go viral about what to do with the tax write-off with the 6,000 pound. You see how they packaged that and the hood
Hold on. Let me. You said that you saw that? Where do you think people heard that?
That come from y'all. so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying though. How that was packaged? Like it seemed like the internet took that, packaged it in a way, and bro, that was everywhere. TikTok, millions of like dudes was regurgitating it, and that's what I'm saying.
Dope.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you create something and watch.
But we will do what we need to do once we get the information, but it got to be simplified in that way to the point where I don't know if y'all put it out there like that, but people were saying the reason why the rapper goes and gets the G-Wagon is because of and it's like, oh, I want to be like the rapper.
Yeah, I was talking to Big Facts about that. I'm like, yo, I heard Tip. Shout out to Tip. I'm like, yo, I heard Tip talking about the 6,000 pound rule, and they just started laughing.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. Like, that's dope that he's talking about it because like it spreads the message.
Right.
But it was crazy because like we always talk about having a lesson in everything, and so when we buy something, there's a lesson in it, right? We talk when he posted about the Rolex, it was like, yo, it's gold appreciation value. We keep this long term. We be patient with it. The watch is gonna be worth more long term. Right? If we keep it as a factory watch.
Right.
With most people like put it bust down. But the car situation was like, we had just bought Range Rovers. And rather than be like, yo, we got Ranges, like, you know what I'm saying? Jay's been talking about that.
Game out.
Oh, let's teach them something about like what you can do buying this in the business name and now the 6,000 pound rule. So there's a lesson in everything.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
What is there any more tidbits of shit out there like that we can get a hood right quick?
We got some stuff.
We can get a hood or something because I mean, you know, let's talk about business credit, man. Let's talk about how to build that. What's business credit? How do you build it?
Yeah, business credit. So, you know, personal credit, everybody's familiar with, where, you know, you have like personal credit cards and you know, put everything in your name, in your personal name. So, you know, when we started to get educated on like, nah, you don't need to put everything in your personal name. Like you can actually leverage more on your business credit,
right?
Business side.
Right.
So that's even going back to like the cars, putting your cars.
Right.
And you really should put everything. Nothing should be in your own personal name after a certain point. Like,
see, you got to get me together, bro. Y'all gonna have to help get me together because I'm out here playing. I got 5 cars in my name. Like I'm doing too much, man.
Yeah.
Y'all, you know, y'all gonna have to help me. But continue. I'm sorry.
In the event of a lawsuit, right?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
So it makes perfect sense.
I almost was done in a divorce.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I almost was finished in a divorce.
Yeah,
but continue. I'm sorry, we can talk about that too. But continue.
Yeah.
So put everything in your business name. Is there a special way to do that? I've seen people say, and you tell me if it's true. Y'all the kings of it. I've seen people say that you can use your name as a business and just like say your name's Alex Smith LLC. Like you can do some shit like that. Is that a thing?
Well, like for the cars, it's like you have to have a certain amount of time to actually have in your full business name or your full business credit. But what you can do is that you can be a personal guarantor, meaning like you can sign off on it personally and they check your own personal credit, but it's still under your business name. So if your business is just new and you might not be able to just fully have it under your business name, that's a way to kind of still have it under your business name, but it uses your personal credit
as like a leverage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keyword.
Exactly.
Right,
But
right.
the business credit is extremely important. Just to kind of give you an idea, it's like I have an Amex card, and my Amex card, my own personal Amex, my limit probably like $15,000 on my Amex card. And I had it for a long time. I got excellent history, excellent credit, all that. But when we got the business Amex, our limit is probably like $120,000.
Oh man, sign me up.
So yeah,
Sign me up.
you always get more leverage with your business, and as you're building business credit, now that's gonna put you in a position to fund bigger projects. So
Yes.
you're talking about I want to. I just talking about I want to just buy this shirt, like a personal credit. I want to buy a building, or I gotta get all of this equipment. All of this
Right.
equipment might be like $60,000,
Right.
right? So that's stuff that is all business expenses. So going back to the taxes, like you put this on your business credit. So you building up your business credit. You're getting points for putting it on your business credit, but then you can also deduct all of that on your taxes. Because now it's like this is a business expense for your business, as opposed to just buying a camera and just doing anything that you want with it. Like you actually can prove, all right, I'm using this for my business. That's why it's important to have your business set up correctly. A lot of people don't even have their business set up. They just starting.
When you say set up correctly, you mean
Like
what?
corporate structure. So it's like you have an LLC, you have
Right.
an S corp, C corp. Like so, it's like you have. Before you start a business, you should have that set up.
LLC.
So you shouldn't just start a business and just say, okay, I'm gonna start a podcast, but I'm still going to just run it out of my personal bank account.
See, but I'm gonna tell you, man, I with me, I'm funding everything out of my personal account, and it's a mistake. I just did a live event with me, and I made money from it. So, I made my money back, but it's like. I'm coming out of my personal account. And you saying that's a mistake?
Yeah, and it doesn't take that hard. Like once you set up the LLC, right?
And I have an LLC.
You get the EIN number, so you go to the bank, and then you set up a business bank account, right? You set the business bank account up, and now all the transactions should come into that business bank account, and then you can use your business debit card for expenses, or if you get a business credit card, you can use a business credit card. So it just makes it a lot cleaner, a lot easier. So when you do your taxes, it's not like you have to like go back and forth. Like you just say, okay, this is my business
Out
account.
of business account and
then-
everything.
then you
already
have
set up.
exactly. You have an accountant that
Uniform,
keeps the books for you.
Okay.
Tracks all of your expenses. This is all things that you learn as you go.
Right.
But it can save you a lot of money, especially dealing with the IRS. Mm-hmm. You don't want to have those problems.
Yes, and even like I just did this yesterday. Like he's telling, I literally just did it. It doesn't. People think it'll take a long time. Like I literally filed from the LLC last week, opened a bank account yesterday. But even in the podcast space, and it's something like is a gem too. It was like when you have the LLC, right? Your company, let's say your podcast is the LLC, right? And you're doing a podcast out your home. Now you can rent the home to your business, right? Because you're using it as your studio.
Yeah. I would see it. That's what I'm saying. See, little shit like that we need to know, because a lot of the time why we can't get up and going is because we robbing Peter to try to fund Paul. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm working and I'm taking $200, $400, $500 out this check to go get this camera. But if we could set that up right and streamline it, that'll be a beautiful thing. So business credit, you get an LLC, get your EIN number, open up a business account. Is there any tricks? Like, because I see a lot of people buy this trade line, and if you put us on we'll get you right in that G-Wagon. What's up with all of that
Yeah,
stuff?
it is. I mean, we're not credit experts, so I
Right,
don't
of
want
course
to kind
not.
of give advice on that as far as like with the trade lines and all of that
Is
stuff.
that a real thing, though?
Trade lines are real.
Yeah, for
it
sure.
is a real
It's
thing,
like
okay.
making somebody an authorized user to use your account. You know what I'm saying?
So
like,
they just, maybe that's not something we should talk about.
Yeah. So like my mom did that for me.
Okay,
Because it could
okay.
be used for good, right?
Okay.
Like my mom had an American Express card since 1985. When I was 18, I was able to use that. When they looked at my credit history, it went back to 1985. I was 3 years old. but she's had a good outstanding. She made me an authorized user,
right.
so I get the benefits of having her good credit. Now, all I have to do is be responsible going forward with it to help my credit. She obviously has to be responsible, but it builds my credit at 18. Now that at 19, when I go to college, I can apply for a credit card because I have credit history.
I also see y'all give some very dope information about your children and how to do something for your children to set them up. What was that? I don't know if it was start a business and something.
Yeah, you could pay your children. You could start if you are self-employed. If you have a business, you can hire your children, and you can pay them, and it's a tax deduction for the company, and they don't pay any taxes on it. So it's like instead of giving your child an allowance, it's like you have them actually working as an employee to the company, and now they actually they're learning. They're growing in the family business. Mm-hmm. You save money because it's actually a tax deduction, and they're getting money, and that they can use. So it's like it's one of these things that it's a very efficient way of doing business, and one of the benefits. The tax law was really written for entrepreneurs and investors. It wasn't written for employees. So you find all of these different loopholes and all of these benefits for people that's employers, for entrepreneurs. And for investors, that's why we encourage people to be entrepreneurs and investors, not only for taxes, but that's one of the reasons why.
It's just benefits with it, man. Not only liberation and freedom, and also the ability to. I always tell people, man, like I asked Jason Wilson. I asked him, I'm like, because I hear him kick a lot of healing and even Charlamagne, and we'll talk a little bit about Envy, Charlamagne, them, because they're some good dudes. But I asked Jason Wilson, like, yo, I know everybody says heal, right? But in the ghetto, it's like they really, I'm telling you, I'm there. I'm down there trying to teach them about talking. They literally, and a lot of times, don't know where the next meal coming from, right? It's almost like if you got a job. Say you got a job and they give you 2 weeks off. Those first couple of days, you're not going to clean your garage. You're not going to tidy up your closet. You're going to try to catch up on rest, and sometimes in the neighborhood, they don't have that leisure to be able to worry about, let me sit down and worry about, can I heal? Because mama trying to get me to work today. She need $20 for gas. Like, the car run hard, but she can get us there if she just had 20. And I'm trying to keep my job. I got 3 points because I've been missing. Like, it's a lot of those little things going on to where they don't really have that time to go say, let me focus on healing. You know what I'm saying? So I like to always, just kind of mention that. Now, where were we at? I do this all the time. My fans know this too. They like.
He was talking about the child paying your children. And
I was going somewhere after that.
He was like, it's just a lot of benefits of being an entrepreneur.
Yes. So I'm sure to come back. Let's talk to me about Charlamagne. We'll talk about Charlamagne and DJ Envy. But I want to keep those two guys separate because I know you guys have relationships with both of them in different facets. Talk to me about Charlamagne. What for me, Charlamagne is probably the most important person in regards to media. A lot of those street gritty guys, I find myself like how I do with y'all, having to explain to them the value of these people, even like with Charlamagne, because they see the new Charlamagne. I'm telling them, bro, the game at right now is because of Charlamagne, right? Because of how he stretched the T-shirt. It wasn't necessarily he was doing things that you would directly do, but for him to be in that seat doing some of those things, it opens the market, and so I always thought, damn, man, this dude is really, really working his move up there. How did y'all get connected with Charlamagne? And just talk to me about Charlamagne, what y'all feel about him and who he is as an individual in this game.
Yeah, Charlamagne, definitely a good brother. We got connected with my man Chad from 85 South, and he was
shout out 85 South.
Shout out to 85 South. That's the bros
for sure.
So he was telling him about and also Mandy V from Horrible Decisions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she be in here.
Yeah, this is
yeah.
Shout out to Mandy and Weezy.
Shout out Mandy.
Yeah, for sure. So they both was telling Charlamagne about us because at the time he had just started the Black Effect, his podcast network. So they was both telling him like, yo, you need to holler at Earn Your Leisure. and they was telling them about us. So I guess you know, Chad was like telling them, and then I guess Charlamagne was like, all right, let me speak with them. So he gave Charlamagne my number. Charlamagne hit me. And I remember I was at his house when he called me. That was dope for me because I've been rocking with Charlamagne for a long time. Got his book and all of that. So, you know, it's always dope when somebody calls you, like, you know, somebody that you watch on television and shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Beautiful.
So he called me. He was just super humble dude. Like, yo, bro, I've been hearing a lot about you. I've been hearing about y'all platform, da-da-da-da. He was telling me about what he had going on. And I'm like, dope, man, I appreciate you even, you know, thinking about us.
Right.
So, you know, we had like a 15-minute conversation. And then he had put me in touch with the people from iHeart, and that kind of, you know, developed our relationship of working with Black Effect and iHeart. And from there, it was just an organic relationship that we built with him. And, you know, we've been on the Breakfast Club a few times. He's done stuff. He just was on our book club for Eyl University.
I've seen that.
And he's just a super, super humble, down-to-earth dude. But like you say, you know, he's definitely done a lot. And a lot of times, you know, people don't really fully appreciate somebody until it's too late.
Right,
you know?
right.
But it's like, you know, for him to, you know, start as a radio disc jockey and now he's a media mogul, like, you know what I'm saying?
Fame.
He's something different, man. I tell people, I'm telling you, man, when I look at dude, like, you know, and I'm sure we'll cross paths at some point, man, and but he's the GOAT. Like, he's the GOAT, man, in this shit. Like, talking shit, he's the GOAT, bro. Like, far as, again, you know, because I was telling Parlay, because see, Parlay, and it'll come out, we talked about it on this podcast, and he was basically saying, like, nah, man, because they just saw clips of little things, and then it went away, and then next thing you know, he comes back as mental health. But if you follow that boy journey, that dude is a mega monster, man.
Yeah. You see who they call when they need the big interview?
Yeah, man. And even him sitting with Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I say, yo, see, and when I see that, you know, a lot of people criticize them. I heard people say, nah, we don't need the interview and this and that. First of all, let me say this. We want to definitely send condolences out to anyone that was affected at the Astro World Fest, and that's a very serious thing. Our condolences are with them. In this media space, Charlamagne had to be the person to sit there.
Yeah.
See, it's a short list of people that can do what some of us can do.
Yeah.
Ain't but 2 or 3 dudes can do what I do. Ain't really nobody can do what y'all do. Charlamagne, maybe one. That's really it. Like I'm saying,
hip hop Oprah.
Yeah, it's like that job is the only, like, he's the only one could do. Like Kanye even said that some of us are earners, some of us are thinkers. He said, I don't read well. I really don't. I can just put some shit together. Some of us are that, and some of us can only do those jobs. That's why we got to do our job at building us up. Some people, and I want to speak to that, some people said that he shouldn't have done the interview. My thing was that interview wasn't for them to speak to the people that was hurt or devastated by what happened. That interview was a direct response to mass media putting out a documentary. Like, they were putting things out that was painting this a certain way, and he insisted on coming out. But Charlamagne is the only person that could have done that job, and we got to give dude his flowers and appreciate him for that.
When they needed to sit down with Ye, they called him too.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. What's your situation? You was with him. What's your interaction with Charlamagne?
It's the same thing. Like, we've been on calls with him. Super receptive, super supportive. You know, his biggest advice to us was like, listen, y'all gonna be in this situation. Make sure y'all take advantage of it. Make sure y'all watch everything. Watch everything and learn as you go.
Right.
Because what would be the point of you being here if you didn't learn?
No information.
Like, he was starting Black Effect. We was starting EYL Network. He had his podcast network. We had ours. All right.
This one.
Well, let's see how they operate. Okay, they do this. They have bi-weekly calls. All right, that's what we need to do our network. You know what I'm saying? So, like, all those things.
This shit is so lovely to see us finally start to eat out the same pot.
Yeah, and it's likewise. Like, even for him, it's like when he's talking to us, he's like, yo, tell me about investing.
Right.
And so he's learning the game from us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just humble enough to, like, all right, I don't know, you do. Can you teach me?
Right.
And every time we communicate, it's pretty much the same thing.
Now, I know y'all relationship with Envy comes through real estate and things like that. Talk to me about Envy.
Yeah, so Envy was, before there was a Dame Dash interview, like, that was it. That was our biggest, like, most notarized, not notarized, but most notable person at the time. I think it was like our 33rd episode. And he came.
Damn, that's early.
Early. Yeah. So, like, when we talk about, like,
but see, again, that bro. And he probably know the language. Like, and I've had a couple of, motherfuckers, but this means so much to me, you know what I'm saying? Just because I know what y'all do and I know what y'all stand for, and it means so much to my people. I'm sorry, go
Yeah, so our partner, MG, the mortgage guy, had a relationship with him because he was going on the real estate tour with him.
I remember.
And so we were just kind of like, yo, let's put this together. And Shotty had this like game plan. He was like, yo, let's just take everybody from the real estate tour and interview him. So he has to know us. So we literally took everybody that was on that tour, and we were like, all right, well, now you got to know who we are.
Right.
And then I saw him at an event.
You was a hell of a thinker.
Yeah, we just kept knocking.
But that's
off.
the workaround. Hold on,
Yeah.
please don't forget that.
Yeah.
That's the workaround. I was back to the conversation we had earlier when I was telling people you running up on dudes every vote, and it's not gonna work. The workaround, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yo, bro, you can get to me, but you need somebody to put it on my desk that I really appreciate.
It's like chess. Like you can't just get the king and the queen. You gotta get the knight, bishop, rook.
Yeah.
But only us can understand that. It's only a few of us. Continue.
The beauty of it is that those people never had a platform to speak on other than that stage. So people didn't really know who they were either.
Right.
And
So
they're
help
like,
build them at the same.
Of course.
Y'all done built, because I'm going to tell you, I think Wallo and Gille kind of took a little bit of, which this is what it's for. But I think they took a little bit of y'all business model with the business entrepreneur guys. Yeah.
That was, I mean, even that's a whole nother conversation too. Like when they were starting their podcast, like I remember them calling them like, yo, what equipment do y'all use?
Yeah,
So I'm on the
Wallo
phone.
called me before he started the
See,
podcast.
that's what I'm saying.
He like, I don't know. I'm like, yo, this
But
is
look.
the joints we use. And so like when people asking us for a deck, I'm like, what's that? They sent us the deck. Like this is what a deck
That
is.
thing that hold
so we just
all
helping
the
each other
shit.
when we were starting in this. He was like,
Right.
yo, we about to launch our
See,
podcast.
and that's what I'm saying. But see, only a few of us can even think like that. Like, yo, them is the niggas. Wallo could have called some other people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But because Wallo, but it's like these dudes, they own the something. You know what I mean? Let me get close to them and see, yo, bro, what y'all? You know what I'm saying? Because that'll put his boots on. But yeah. So you said you interviewed everybody that was on the mortgage.
So we got all of them, and then my wife was working at Foot Locker at the time, and they were having an event, and I heard Envy was going to be the DJ. So I'm like, perfect. I got to go to this event. So I'm like, yo, this is the opportunity. I'm going to see him one-on-one. I'm going to just talk to this dude.
Right.
And so I got to the event, and I was standing. I saw him. He was with his daughter. I'm like, damn, this ain't the time. And then like in my head, I'm like, nah, there may not be another time.
Right.
And so I walked up to him.
Pushed your line.
Yeah. And I walked up to him, and he was just like, yo, I heard who y'all are. I would love to do the show. Let's get it done.
Same thing you done to me. You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, bro, that's what I'm saying. This game, I tell you something, and y'all tell me if I'm tripping. Because when I got in the game, right, I've only been doing, I maybe got 50 episodes or something like that, right? And in those episodes, it's a lot of people sprinkled, but I haven't put it out yet. And the reason I haven't put out a lot of my big interviews is because I'm still trying to figure out the structure of this thing, right? And I don't want to waste, because I know how these things work, especially with content. You put it out, they hear Dr. Umar say this or Floyd say this on there, and they take that clip, and now it's ran its course. Now I put the interview out, and it really does not what it's supposed to do, right? It's trying to understand the business, but when I first got in the game, I was thinking like, yo, it's going to be rough. Like, these dudes hating, these dudes ain't really going to come talk to nobody. They ain't trying to help nobody. This game ain't really, bro, it's been surprisingly easy for me, right? Not easy, but it's been, because it's a lot go into it, but it's been surprising. People have been welcoming to me, like my people. And I don't know if it's because I come from the ghetto that I think like, all right, ain't nobody gonna really try to. So I got to work around like same way I did in the street. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They ain't nobody gonna give me they plug. They gonna try to make something off of me when I go through them. Like I gotta figure out a way around it. Like I literally come in like that, and it's been like Big Bank just one day randomly hit me up. Like, yo, bro, I'm inspired by you, bro. Like that shit you do on your podcast, I'm inspired. And I'm like, huh? That this time I ain't even got really, I had maybe 8,000 followers, 5,000 followers. Some of them came from music and shit. So it really wasn't a podcast thing. I had just started kicking the game. And he come right in like, yo, anything I can do, Like my Rolodex is your Rolodex. So, but I never push those lines because, like you said, it's about when it's ready. It's like, all right, it's ready now. Did y'all find it surprisingly welcoming? I know y'all are fixing a problem though, so dudes think they stealing. But you know, it's like
Yeah, I think for us it was just a matter of just, we really had a unique mission where it was just to provide information, give information, teach people. So with that, it opened up a lot of opportunities because people genuinely liked it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people was like, yo, I really rock with this. And then it's like, even if somebody wasn't familiar with it, when they became familiar with it, it's like, all right, this is something positive. Like, it's kind of hard to, hey, it's no controversy. It's not, anything that would be detrimental.
Right.
So it's like, once you really start to understand what it is, it's one of these things that's just like,
it's over.
Yeah.
This K good. And I'm sorry, I took y'all off Envy. So y'all interviewed everybody. You saw him with his daughter. You pushed your line on.
We pushed the line and he was like, yo, I love what you guys are doing. Let's just link on the call and let's get it done. But even before we did that moment, we had been watching. So like, I remember we went to see his seminar just as students.
Right.
Like, all right, well, I know we interviewed a bunch of these people, but we never met him.
Right.
So we actually paid and sat down and watched the seminar and we took things because at a certain point we knew like, all right, the live space is something we're going to enter.
Right.
Let's see what this looks like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just being students of it.
Right,
And eventually, obviously, we met his partner Caesar. Shout out to Caesar, who was a guest on the show as well. And we just developed a relationship with them. And they've been super solid. You know what I mean? Envy, again, before there was any person of notoriety, he was the first one to say yes. And after that, like I remember that was like August of 2019. We went on a crazy run right after that. That's when we had Wall Street Trap on there, and John Henry came, and then the game.
Y'all
was just
kicking
over.
real game.
Yeah, it was a run.
Yeah, y'all kicking real game, man. Let me see anything else I got for y'all. What happens if everyone becomes entrepreneurs? If everybody becomes sellers or entrepreneurs, what happens to the market?
To like the workforce?
Yeah.
Well, I think that, there's always some people that's just not interested in becoming entrepreneurs. And, that there's a need for people to, but I think you can do both. Like, even like, a lot of people that we employ, they're entrepreneurs too on the side. Like, they might have businesses, and they technically are employees, but they're also entrepreneurs as well.
Right.
And I think that's something that, needs to be highlighted more. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You can still work your job. You can still, do the 9-to-5 thing if you're not ready to jump off the porch full time. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have vending machines. You can't,
Is this vending machine good? Because y'all keep speaking about it, and I saw y'all making money with the vending machines. What's up with the vending machine space?
Yeah. So, I mean, the vending machines was just an idea that we heard on the episode. Shout out to Kashif out in Philly. And it was like, all right, this could be pretty lucrative, right? Like, somebody making $3,000 off of machines a month. It's like, all right, that's like somebody's salary.
Right.
Right? Like, who's just starting in the workforce.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, well, number one thing we need is location. And so we had the opportunity, the place that we were running our programs out every summer just happened to be our old high school. I went back and said they didn't have any. And so I was like, oh, this is a unique opportunity.
Yes.
And so we were like, look, we would love to bring machines, but we wanted to add value. Not just put machines in your school and make profit. We said, let's add value to this. So what we decided was like, look, all the profits we make every month, we make profit, right? We're gonna give 15% to the graduating class of your high school, of our old high school, not even their high school, our old high school.
But see, that's even knowing how to see. That's what I'm saying. I think y'all may be undervaluing your ability to structure those kind of things.
Yeah.
Because with all the fucking leverage, or even with the little leverage that you have, when you're able to then say, hey, you see, because that shit in conjunction makes a good deal.
Our thing was like, how can we make it so that they can't say no?
Right. That's
So
what I'm
like,
saying.
Right.
That's
So
what
we're
I'm
like,
saying.
we're gonna give 15% because we know we're coming out of a pandemic. Everybody, people were hit with hardships, right? And so rather than saying like, yo, this is how much the prom is going to be this year, this is how much senior dues is going to be this year. Nah, we have something that's going to provide income for your senior class and
cost you nothing.
And cost you nothing.
Real estate you're not using.
Yeah,
That's a spot in the building.
We're putting the machines in and we're giving you profit from the machines.
There's no way to say no to that.
There you go.
But see, again, understanding how to place these things, because one of us can come from the neighborhood with the same ideal of vending machines, right? And without that being put out there, that you had to structure something that made it make sense, that approach their school that they went to and say, yo, I got vending machines. Like, what's the vibes? And they're like, yeah, we already got vending machines. Right? Because they don't understand that where's the value in this? What I have to find some value, structure it in that way, because at that time, the leverage is the value that I'm giving you back.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily nothing I had. My leverage in that situation isn't necessarily nothing that I own. Like I can't say you get my big audience to come in here and buy from your vending machines, or you get my, like, the leverage I'm giving you is I'm gonna put something here that's costing you nothing. I'm giving you understanding of what's happening and how you can make money from it. And in that structuring of a deal, or that structuring of a scenario, bro, there's immense value in that.
Yeah, and then we took students, like one of our students who was in our program in the summer is now part of the vending business. So he just graduated from the school that the vending machines are in. The kids who used to walk the hallways with, they see him coming in as an entrepreneur every morning to load the machines. They're like, yo, you was just here.
Right.
Now he's a boss.
See, that's love.
You see what I'm saying?
And that's pushing the line. That's pushing the line.
The next kid's going to see it. So now we're getting student volunteers who like, yo, can I help you bring the packages in? All right, let's give them a little bit of money because they helping bring the packaging in. You see what I'm saying? But what he said is true. Like that entrepreneur versus 9 to 5, like, you could do both. You could do both. I always say this, like, because I was teaching. Like, I remember, like, him and Mike, our other partner, they've been entrepreneurs. And so, like, there'll be text threads going off, and I'm, like, teaching the class, and I'm like, damn, I can't really check what's going on.
They already out doing their thing.
The key is, like, everybody will have, like, most people will have a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 3, right? But it's about what you do from 5 to 12 that will determine how long you're going to be in that 9 to 5.
Because I remember Dame and Envy had a real needed running, right, about entrepreneur. And right then was one that were really, that Charlamagne and a couple of people made me want a podcast. That was so much game. Just
that was so powerful.
They were going back and forth. Envy was like, no, but I'm good. The other day was like, do you own the radio station? It was
the most powerful interview in my mind. For any entrepreneur, I was like, whoa.
Yes. Because he going against the grain, scribbling outside.
But now you see, look at every one of the Hall of Fame cast that they have at the Breakfast Club. Envy, real estate. Right, he might have been doing that prior, but not at this level.
Right now, they all kicked in the high gear because it was offensive. Listen, man, Dame Dash is offensive, man, because he's he gonna talk that boss talk.
Yeah,
like, and I'm not saying offensive like hurt your feelings, but chest up, chin, chin up, chest out. You know, he one of them. He coming with that vibe, and he come in there to some people that's multimillionaires in their own right.
Yeah.
But the liberation and the ownership,
it's different.
And he went to kicking that, like, yo, man, like such and such and such and such. And he was on it that day. If you remember that interview, he took his glasses off one time, like he was in rare form, like, and that's the Dame I love to see though, because that's the one that speak directly to my spirit. That Dame and that Charlamagne and that Envy. They speak directly to my spirit when they go to talking that. Well, I could do that and do this too, though, right? Dame, can't I work in there? And I'm just soaking it up. Just the whole world were really soaking that moment up. Let me ask you guys about crypto. You think they'll regulate crypto?
Yeah, I think so. It's just a matter of time.
Will it hurt it?
A little bit, but I feel like, not really. I feel like, it's just going to give. It needs some level of regulation. I feel like, because there's a lot going on, but it will give it even more widespread scalability. And it's just like stocks. Like stocks is regulated,
Right.
It's like, so I mean, people think that crypto doesn't have government control now, but it already has government control. If it didn't have government control, you wouldn't be able to tax it. Like you tax.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Was it a time you didn't tax crypto?
Yeah, there was.
Okay, that's the last time I had
in
an
the early
update.
days.
Yeah, okay.
Now, now it's taxed. Banks have crypto. You can get crypto on credit cards now, so it's becoming pretty like
they on their way. Then,
yeah.
What about NFTs? See, I'm gonna tell you something with NFT. That ain't made it to the hood yet. The rap guys are doing it because everything they know they've been told.
Yeah.
So if they've been told NFT is a hell of a thing, they'll buy the right person. And you hear Kanye always talk about, they always put somebody around me that got something to tell me. pitch me something or try to get me to go here, do this. So rappers, all of them are like that. Somebody's reporting to them, NFT's a new thing, bro. You need to. So yeah, what do y'all know about NFT and is NFT a valuable asset to have?
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I think so. Especially for guys in music, it's something that you can control, right? And a smart chain, a blockchain contract is put on the asset. So for a musician, it makes perfect sense, right? You don't have to go to a label. You create your own project. You put a price on it, and you could put a commission on it, which I think is the crazy.
So explain that break.
So like Tory Lanez put out an album, right? Mm-hmm. He sold it for $1, right? 1 million people bought it. He's platinum. He made $1 million, right? On math, right? But if he puts a commission on the future sales of it, now if you sell that album for $10
and owe him a kickback
every time it gets sold, and it's not like he has to go find.
But where's the value in that? If 1 million people have the same.
Well, that's if it's at 1 million. But what if he does an album that's $10 and he only makes 1,000 of them?
Right.
Right, and it's like world acclaimed as a classic album. People are gonna want to have it. Like, remember when Skrelly did the Wu-Tang album? There was one Wu-Tang album.
Yes.
The value just
sold at $5 million. I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But like, if that got sold again, he doesn't get paid. Right? Wu-Tang doesn't get
I
paid.
see what you're
They're not
saying.
gonna make money off of that.
Right.
But like, if somebody sells Tory's album again, every time it gets sold because
in perpetuity.
Exactly, and it's a smart contract, so he doesn't have to go searching for the person. He doesn't need a publicist,
BMI, anything like that.
He doesn't need anybody to go find the money for him anymore, right? The money's already in the contract. If it's sold, he gets whatever percentage he sets for it. He makes money for as long as that's being sold.
Is the market big enough to do NFT market big? Like, is it?
It's growing. It's growing, but most people don't have the knowledge of it. Like you said, like the hood don't really understand it.
Right.
Right. And that's just music. But like people can do that with art.
Because I see pictures, then I get spams every day, all day on my Instagram. You know, NFT, we started, I said, somebody got a mean campaign going on with this stuff.
Yeah.
But I get to thinking, like, it's a picture. Like, what do I still can't, even with you saying that,
yeah.
I understand what you're saying, right? Meaning, hey, there has a starting point, and the starting point continues to make some no matter where this goes.
Right.
So if it can go 15 times, some still comes back to that starting point.
But you can add incentives to it too, right? So with that album, there might be a ticket to a show, right? Or it could be it could be anything. It could be like a signed autograph or a picture or a meet and greet somewhere. There's incentives that you can add to that NFT. And so it makes it rare, right? The point of NFT is non-fungible. You can't duplicate what's being sold.
And that's what confuses me when there's a million of them being sold.
Yeah.
You know, so you're saying there's NFT, you can't duplicate it, but then he sells 1 million NFTs. And it's like, that's a duplication to me.
But the experience inside of it, there might be experience that's with that, right? Like it's 1 million of them. Yeah, there's a lot, but there's 9 billion people, almost 9 billion people in the world.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? 1 million is a limited source. Or when
so yeah. When we're dealing with sheer numbers,
we're dealing with. It's not like a United States thing,
right?
NFTs and blockchain and cryptocurrency is a global thing,
right?
It's like a global sensation,
right?
So like in art, same thing. Fashion, the same thing. Like Nike just bought they bought a digital space in the metaverse, right? And so like they have a company that has virtual apparel, right? Well, why is Nike doing that? Well, number one, if the metaverse is the thing of the future and people are living in that space, like Roblox and obviously Facebook changed their name to Meta.
Right.
Those are going to be items that will be sold inside of that space. Now, the crazy thing with Nike is that they have the uniqueness that they can have the virtual piece of art, right? The actual shoe, but they could also make it very unique where that you can have the physical copy of it as well.
To match that.
To match it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now it becomes super limited.
Right. So, I mean, I still can't wrap my brain around that shit, man. I mean, I definitely understand that, right? But I'm trying to put it in a way where it's like, it's just elementary. And I get by numbers, right? So the experience with it, I get all that. I'm just looking for the value. And I think I'm late. And a lot of us in the hood are late, not understanding that those games, like when you buy V-Bucks and things like that, that's been a thing. Like I've spent hundreds of dollars in 2K.
You've been preparing
online.
They prepared you for this moment.
Right. And so it's like now shit is really moving to like, bro, they buying land in the metaverse, bro. Like, are y'all gonna get anything in the metaverse?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we haven't,
sure.
yet, but definitely something that we're interested in. I mean, this is the wave. This is the wave of the future. So you got to be educated on it. Like you said, it might sound crazy, but if you have kids, you kind of already know about V-Bucks
Right.
and app purchases,
Right.
things of that nature. So it doesn't really, it's not too crazy if you think about it from that standpoint.
That's what I'm saying.
If you've been playing 2K, you've been playing Grand Theft, you've been playing like. You've been prepared for this moment. You've already been doing it.
I tell you something. I had a dude because I play Xbox sometimes. Nowadays, I probably play once every 6 months. But I used to get on Xbox, and I had a guy on there that was really, really gone. Like I would get on there, and they would knew I was out doing music, so I'll get on there. He'd be like, "Yeah, Loon, I just got the Benz, I got the Bentley. You know what I mean? I just got me a new mansion," and be dead serious. I'm talking about I can't even give you the gravity of it. That's how serious the boy lost his wife because he literally was so invested in like who I am on Grand Theft. Now I gotta wear the green bandana today and things like that. Now I looked at him and was like, "You're bugged out." But now, fast forward to now, I'm like,
ahead of his time.
yeah, this dude was really.
He's been trained. They've been training.
But I think he didn't go in like we're going in. We're going in like, all right, this is a thing, y'all. Let's head this way. He got sucked in.
Yeah.
You know, he got sucked in from just a game, playing the game. Like, next thing you know, this is who he is. And that's what will happen with Metaverse. And that's why we better plant our feet in that shit at some point, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, man, I'm going to give y'all these, man. I got some
I appreciate that, brother.
members only hoodies for you guys, man.
They come with the Louis bag. You know what's in it.
Which side? One of y'all are 2X. He
I'm a
said.
2X. Yeah.
Y'all might have to figure out which one is 2X and which one. I think that's 1X, 2X.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. That
Appreciate it.
members only merch, man. I appreciate
It's
y'all.
up there, y'all.
Yes, Lord. It's up there. Podcast.
That's a fact.
And I just, man, like I said, I thank y'all guys, man. And hopefully, man, like I said, we can definitely link in and continue to build. I can come and support y'all guys wherever y'all doing something, man, and vice versa. And I just appreciate y'all stopping by, man. And I want to definitely say this to young creators out there, man. These guys are some of the realest in the game. These guys didn't charge me. These guys didn't ask me to send them over any kind of These dudes
Here's
just
the questions
said,
I need you to ask.
yeah. Or send over the questions. They didn't act Hollywood. They didn't do any of that. So I just really want the people out there to know that our black people, our men, especially in this podcasting space, they are being surprisingly helpful and trying to help one of their own, you know, get his feet planted in this thing, man. And again, I thank y'all. Y'all my brothers forever, man. And y'all need anything from me, I'm there. This thing will go big. I can promise you that. And if y'all need me for anything, man, I'm there. And I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, love is love, bro. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you, man. Keep
Lord.
killing it.
It's
Thank
Up There
you, man.
Podcast.
It's Up There Podcast,
The
baby.
biggest ever.
Yes, Lord.
Something is stuck.
Yes, Lord. Hey, it's your boy Loon from It's Up There Podcast. Thank you for watching the video you just watched, and make sure you subscribe by hitting the button you see on the screen, or go to the next video by hitting this right here you see on the screen. Biggest Up There Podcast.